Say it.
Well, the red light is on, so that means we are live.
All right.
Yeah, buddy. All right, man. Episode Dad Fiction,
Oh, yeah, I gotta
episode
I gotta do the share
29.
thing.
Oh, I got to get my stuff ready because Dad Fiction legal. I have a feeling we're gonna need that tonight, Mr. Calabrese.
Retro.
Gonna say a lot of offensive things, probably.
No, I won't. Yes, I
All
will.
right.
It's 100% going to happen.
So while everyone gets logged in here and notified that Dad Fiction's going live because you are following us on Facebook or Instagram or whatever media you'd like,
I can feel my face getting warm
already warm. Just like, don't curse. Don't be the first person to curse. That's all I want to say.
guarantee you it's going to be me.
Don't be the first
I'm
person.
not equipped for
All right.
self-censorship.
Dad Fiction legal. All right. So before anyone says anything terrible or offensive, let's read Dad Fiction legal disclosure. All things discussed in the Dad Fiction podcast are our own opinions and observations and are no way intended to be used as expert advice. Anything discussed or any behavior appearing on Dad Fiction is not a shared view, opinion, or endorsed behavior by any of our employers. These observations and opinions are also in no way intended to be used out of context, and any attempt to do so without express written consent from Dad Fiction is prohibited. Boom. Dad Fiction legal, $250. That's what happens. That's what you get. All right, we have another full studio session here.
There's people.
Two younger and older gentlemen in the studio. Relatively good looking, I'd say. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they say. We'll see what the people say. I looked at Brian when I said that.
Thanks.
They're objectively attractive.
Objectively attractive.
They bring something to the table.
Yeah, of course.
Except
Everyone
for the
does.
soulless ginger to my left. It's okay.
Soulless. All right.
I didn't make the
that's
rules.
True.
I didn't make
It's
the
true.
rules,
It's
Tim.
true. It's true.
I guess Freud was right. All right. So, AJ, what are we talking about today, man?
It's an important question, Ryan. I'm glad you asked.
All right.
Today we will be talking about the trash and treasure, or facts and fallacies, whatever you want to call it, of being a new dad. So all the kind of things you thought going into being a dad that you're going to feel or do or implement or whatever, and all the things you're going to say, this was stupid, my parents are dumb, I know better than them, and I'm going to do it my way. We're going to kind of do a little bit of that with both of these soon-to-be dads.
Soon to be. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's going to happen. I mean, well, we'll get into them.
We're
and
going
then,
to
let-
don't you
sorry,
step,
I'm
if
just-
you step on
no,
my,
no.
I'll punch you in the face.
I totally messed up your segment.
You
My
do this
bad.
it's like a new thing.
It's a new thing.
I'm going to, anyway.
All right, go. Continue the joke.
I'll fight you. Dollar. I just spit it. I didn't even say it. I was like, "Brrg." But anyway, after that, we will get into shitty people, Ryan.
Which
people who interrupt people or just stop them in the middle of a segment. Maybe that's one of them.
People
I don't know.
people helping
People
people.
help people.
People helping people.
Yeah. So there's that. And then we're going to get into an Ask Dad's question that will infuriate somebody.
Someone here. It's a very different question from Carl in Chicago. So good question. All right. Okay, so if you're following us live here, go ahead and next to that write a comment, which we definitely would like to see some comments during the show. We will interact with you. But next to that, it's a little share button. Hit that share button so more people can hear the words that we're saying, and we can grow our podcast, the Dad Fiction Podcast, episode 29. All right, so to my right, I have a gentleman who it needs no introduction, but he's going to introduce himself anyways. Mr. Brian Fedor. Do I have to call you Masters, Brian Fedor? Master?
No,
Master.
I'll go with Brian.
Just go Brian.
Does
All
he
right.
do karate? What do you mean?
Master.
Yeah, what
He's
is
got
that?
his master's degree.
Is that what we do with people?
That's
He's not a fucking doc. Damn it!
That was quick.
he's not a
quick.
doctor.
I'm off the rails. We're not even 5 minutes in.
But he is a
Told you I was
master's.
feeling wily.
He's a
today.
master's of something.
Told you. Guys.
Brian, tell the folks a little bit about yourself, sir.
Well, first off, thack you for having me. Happy to be on episode number 29. That was also my football number.
Boom.
Did you guys know
Yes,
that?
it was.
We planned it that
with
way.
the horse. Was it
It
the
all worked
bull
out.
ring, the bull collar?
Yeah.
Mon-
Cowboy
pad-
collar.
Cowboy
Pad
collar.
mon-
was.
pad
Cowboy,
monster.
cowboy
Yeah,
collar.
exactly.
McDavid cowboy collar.
Yes.
It's
gotta
more like a
love it.
concussion device. Yes. But yeah, so thanks for having me. Really happy to be here. Went to high school with these fine gentlemen here in the room.
All three of us.
Also played, let's see, I think we played elementary basketball against Ryan.
No, you
at
didn't.
St.
Where'd you go to
Jude's.
school?
At St. Didicus.
Oh,
And they
man.
beat
Wow.
us.
Yeah.
And they beat us mercilessly.
Yeah,
At
St.
everything.
Didicus.
Your school sucked at everything.
You're not wrong when you're right.
St. Columba?
Ryan had like
That's
really
my
good-
line.
St. Columba?
St. Therese. The other.
Oh,
You went to St.
terrible-
Columba?
No. St. Vincent's.
Yeah,
you?
we beat you
I went to
guys.
St.
2
Vincent's.
years.
There was only a
Only
few
2 years.
teams that we actually beat, and St. Vincent was like,
Don't-
it could
don't
go
say,
either
Don't
way.
say one of them.
It
No,
could go
there's
either
no
way.
chance.
It could go either way.
St. Jude. You beat
So-
St. Jude.
So
So-
Glenn was in your class?
Yeah.
So St. Didicus, basketball star. All right.
Yeah, really brought the height. to
Got the
football.
height.
Yeah.
Hey man, you got something.
You're sitting down. No one can tell that you're
Yeah.
No one
short.
can
Wow.
tell. He's just super tall. He's got good posture.
You look really tall on camera. because you're closer. It's perspective.
Looks
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
He looks
That's
phenomenal.
That's what she said.
It's the V-neck. It's the V-neck.
I swear, but no, I'm not gonna get into it. Told you, I'm feeling wily.
All right, and you, how old are you? You're my class.
So
right?
yeah, 34. We've got my wife Grace and I. We were expecting our first kid on August 10th.
August 10th, not 8/10.
Yes.
8/10.
Not 8/10.
Yeah, just 8/10.
Can we explain how he presented that to us?
Yeah, go for it. Mr.
So we had a little chat before we started this, and Ryan said, "When is your baby due?" And he spit out 8/10.
Yeah,
That was it.
yeah. Tim
That
goes
was it.
early August.
what I
Brian
expected.
8/10 because they're completely different.
That's when you get a master's degree in things. You say
Yeah.
things
You're
differently.
so much
It was
smarter.
quick,
You use
concise.
numbers.
And you've been married
That is
for
cool.
how long? You been married?
We're going on 5 years, right? 2013. Yeah, so we're coming up on our 5th year anniversary.
So you got
call.
2 good years left, and then it's over.
Yeah, it feels like 99. I'll tell you that much.
I hope she's not.
I love
No,
you.
she's
I love
not.
you.
Hopefully
Grace.
she's
I love
Grace.
you, Grace.
I love you.
I love you, baby.
I love it, babe.
All right. So, and you're expecting your first. Do you know what you're having?
Yeah, we're having a boy.
All right.
Good for you, man.
Nice.
Good for you.
Nice.
All right.
Always good to get a boy out there. First.
Yeah, just you gotta
Sorry,
have it
Ryan.
first, so you know like how terrible babies are, and then you like want to have a girl to see how the other half lives, and you realize that girls are much easier when they're little,
Yeah, and then they're not.
and then they're terrible, and then they flip flop to being
It's super
awful,
great
right?
when they're all little, and you forget that like, oh, they're gonna be like people at some point, and not just tiny cute
Terrible
things.
women who ruin your life. Yeah, it's okay.
It's like getting a puppy. You're like so excited. Oh my god, puppies are the best, and they grow up to be dogs, and they just crap everywhere. You're like, this is awful.
I like how you made that comparison, and I didn't, so that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, people loving people.
It's your fault he craps everywhere.
It's your fault. You didn't take him out.
I don't got a dog.
You don't-
man.
okay, well, then-
I got a 15-year-old. He craps everywhere, but
There you
that's,
go.
that's socially acceptable.
So, all right. So, Brian, that is Mr. Brian Fedor. And we also have Mr. Tim Rico, who I think I still call him Tim Rico. I can't say
I
it's
was
hard to
just
just say
say
I
it
was
once.
just gonna say
It's
like
really hard to call you-
You just call it
uh,
Tim.
Like
It's-
I have an older brother, and
it's awkward.
he goes by Rico, and it skips generations.
Yeah.
Like so, my dad was John Rico, my brother's Rico, and I'm Tim Rico. There's no
Yeah, you're Tim Rico.
there's no other way. Yeah, there's no other.
Still hit the furthest ball I've ever seen hit in a live game.
Monte Vista.
Yep.
That winter ball game.
Into the basketball courts. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. My wife was asking about that, and I said I'll drive you by Monte Vista one day. show
And
you."
you'll see exactly how
Yeah,
far it is and
trace
how
the
high
path.
up.
Yeah.
And then I like he round to step on your story here. Rounds the bases, super cool, like he does. And he walks back in the dugout, and Coach Stevenson just walks up and is like, now go get it. He's like, and you just took your helmet off, walked up, like, yeah, I've done this multiple times, no big deal.
The joys of winter ball. Go
Yeah.
chase it.
Go get
Yeah.
it. Because we need that baseball.
Yeah, we
We're
only have
that-
so many.
Yeah.
We're that poor of a
Yeah,
team. We're like the
exactly.
Sandlot. Go
Yeah.
get it. So that is the legend of Tim Rico. But anyways, tell us, Tim, about yourself, sir.
Same as Brian. Went to Saints with these guys. I'm 1 year older, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. One.
Then
yeah.
me.
1
too,
year,
then.
1 year, yeah, older than him.
2 than you.
One for me, 2 for them.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Okay. 1. Okay. And then I'm here because I'm having a son August 3rd. So these guys invited me on, and by the way, thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Tell.
Appreciate it.
I really want you to share the story you shared with me when you first got here about how that was how that was stolen from you.
The gender reveal?
Yeah.
So me and my wife decided we
Do you want
tried.
to see? You want to see AJ get super intense right now and upset? Just tell the story.
Okay. So we said we were of the camp that we were not going to find out what gender our child was going to be. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we weren't going to know. And I talked to Tom Doyle, who's a former guest on the show, and talked to him and his wife, and they explained to me that they weren't going to do it with their first son. And I said, "There's no chance. You cannot do that. You cannot go 9 months and not find out what you just can't do it. It's physically, mentally,
I
Yeah, you
wouldn't.
can't do it.
metaphysically, it's just impossible. You can't do it."
Speaking of the devil,
Tom
Tom
just
Doyle is
signed it.
watching.
Rico.
Yeah, Tom Doyle just signed it. We're
And-
talking about you, Tom.
So we are we find out we're pregnant. We're going to all these doctor's appointments. My wife has gestational diabetes, so we have appointments every 2 weeks. We get a sonogram every 2 weeks. We're blessed to get a sonogram every 2 weeks. And we're in the sonogram room, and I don't know, we're 4 or 5 months into this thing, and the sonogram thing fires up, the big screen on the wall at the Kaiser office, and 2 seconds in, my wife looks up at the screen and goes, "Is that a penis?" And I went, and the OB said, "Oh yeah," or the tech, the sonogram tech, "Oh yeah," and I said, "We're not supposed to know. There's a big red X on our file that
It's
says
right
no
there.
gender,
Oh.
no gender," and she's like, "Oh, well, it could be an umbilical cord because they're in the same place," and I'm like,
You just screw. You backpedal like
So he
shit.
just grows a dick from the umbilical
"Yeah."
cord.
So now my child has a penis coming out of his belly button. Like, what's going on here?
You
So anyway,
skip that day in freaking lab tech school.
Anyway,
in the same
yeah.
spot.
Idiot.
Long story short, we were in the car, and I said, "Look, we're going to do this every 2 weeks. We're either going to see something or not see something, so we might as well." So,
But it was not up to you. It was the X-ray tech at Kaiser.
yeah.
Which location? Which location
Dr.
was
G,
it?
View Ridge offices, Dr. G, and she's the
Figures.
best. No, she's the best.
Figures.
I'm gonna poop on her car.
I do love her. I
Figures.
do love her.
And how long you been married, Mr. Rico?
Since 2014.
You don't want to do that
4
math?
years.
You don't want to do that? I was like,
Yeah,
why
yeah.
are you making me do the
4
math?
years. 4 years.
No one's
Tell me.
making you do any math.
God.
April 5th, 2014. There you go. Huh?
April
There you go.
5th, April 5th, 2014.
I love you, babe.
Yeah, 4-5-14.
No big deal.
4-5. 4-5.
No big deal.
So, yeah.
All right. Well,
And-
let's recap our week as dads. I guess it'll be short. Any update on your front? How has
Yeah.
life been?
There's been some things.
Really? Do you need a hug?
Yeah.
Do you need a hug already?
No, but Melina does.
Okay.
I was in New Orleans from Friday to Monday, late Monday, so I didn't dad half of the week, but I got back
Treat
to a
yourself.
situation. For the first time ever. Do I have to put $1 in for this?
No,
No,
because
I
it's
don't
someone
get
else
it.
saying.
Yeah,
it.
I was just gonna say
I'm
you
quoting.
shouldn't
It's
have to-
someone else saying
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And so that's a precursor to what's happening.
So you know that you know
My
what's coming.
15-and-a-half-year-old son told his mother to go fuck herself. I was like, ruh-roh.
See, what is with that generation that thinks that they could do that?
Well, so here's the thing, and I'm torn because it took me a while to get the story out of him because she called me in hysterics, ready to drive down there and hit him in the face with a frying pan. Like, she was furious. And I called him, and he thought I was going to kill him, so he's crying, and I'm like, I haven't even said anything yet. I was like, well, this is not good. Something bad happened. I know something bad happened. She's inaudible. She's making noises like the dogs are screaming and barking
Just
everywhere.
high pitched.
Yeah, she's semi-sonic at this point. I can't get anything happening. Finally, I tell my son, all she told me is, he said this, and I was like, oh, I'm going to kill him. So I didn't get any other part of the story. So I call him, and I'm like, I'm going to murder you. I'm going to strangle you and bury you. I'm going to drown you in the ocean. Like, a little dramatic.
Yeah, well, you gotta give a little fear of God in them.
Yeah, but you don't need to threaten to drown your kid in the ocean. Just some errors in parenting occurred. I called back after I'd cooled down, and my buddy Carlo, who had come to visit since I was back in town, and he's in town from Mexico, he's like, hey, did I hear you say you're going to strangle Alex and drown him in the ocean? I was like, no. He's like, maybe don't ever say that again. And I was like, okay. And so I talked to him. He's like, here are some things that I heard you say that maybe don't do. And I was like, okay. And so I was like, I'm going to call him back. He's like, you should call him back and maybe say nothing like you did. Maybe ask some questions. I was like, okay. And so I started to be like an actual parent instead of a psychopath. And I got
initial reaction.
Yeah.
Come on, I mean,
Yeah.
still not okay, but
understandable.
I apologized because
That's what you do when you're wrong. Sometimes.
when you're horribly wrong and completely out of line and cross boundaries you should never cross, an apology is a start.
Yeah.
So then I finally got to the bottom of kind of what happened, or his version of what happened, and then I checked with my dad and got his version of what happened because he heard a lot of it. Got a little bit from her. And here's the thing.
she deserves it.
I w-
No, not at all.
We were married for a while, and I said some words to her a few times, and I may have cursed at her once or twice.
That's all it took. Once, twice.
I mean, I didn't count, but I mean, a couple times
Okay.
a day.
In her general,
Before lunch.
it was just in her general direction.
Look, she and I are very different people, is the way I'll put that.
Hence the X.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so he was telling me the story, and I'm not going to get into it because I don't need anyone taking sides, and it's not important. But ultimately, I agreed with his point, but not his
You
approach.
saw the logic behind it, but
Well, she was fundamentally wrong. Like, I mean, there's unquestionably, undeniably incorrect.
wow.
She would feel differently, but she's wrong, which she is from time to time. But it was, and I'm trying to like keep a straight face and not because I want to laugh my face off because he said what he said to her and I mean, he basically turned into me, which is not good. He told me that he like play-by-played it for me. He's going to explain to me like, well, this happened. I'm like, oh no. Because I don't know why she was screaming at me like I had done it because I did it.
Because it was your fault.
I did it. He has spent 15 years in my house on my watch, and like he turned into me. He's been her for so long. I never thought that he would ever turn into me.
Right.
Like we've been like I told you, you guys didn't hear, but I was
God
telling
help.
these guys beforehand that like he and I kind of get along really great now, and anyone who's listened since the beginning knows we did not.
Yeah.
When this show started, I wanted to just send him to boarding school. But
That's
he's-
where you
In that,
actually.
in that amount of time like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we started I
That's-
think back in November, and so
Oh, wow,
and he
okay.
had like a .67 grade point
Oh,
average.
yeah, okay.
So it's
Yeah.
it's actually that's one of the reasons why we do this weekly catch up, because it's
struggling.
it has gone from AJ's a terrible person and Alex is struggling to they're both excelling at
That's
life in
amazing.
general.
Yeah.
Like his transformation has made me better.
Right. Yeah.
Like
yeah,
and
yeah.
doing this actually kind of helped how I approach him, because I heard other people go, "Hey, you're bad at this." And so I was like, "Oh,
Hey.
okay. Maybe I can try not to
Maybe
be such
don't
a dick
be,
all the time."
Don't be so AJ.
Yeah, maybe if you're not an a-hole, he won't be an a-hole back. Just give it a try.
Yeah.
And it's worked. Hey, thanks, guys.
My
But
my uncle used to tell a story all the time, and I was born in Hawaii, and my uncle was living and working with my dad in Hawaii, and he didn't go to work one day, and my mom had a daycare, so my uncle would kind of watch me while my mom was doing her daycare thing. And this kid lived next door, and his name was Clinton, and I think I was 3,
Clinton.
and he was probably 5 or 6 years older than
Oh,
me. You know, so
figures.
he did, the push me down thing, haha, like bully thing. And one day I just, snapped, and I'm out there in my diaper, and I just dropped a Clinton, you fucking asshole,
In your diaper?
Yeah, and my uncle's like watching the whole thing, and instead of getting extremely mad, he was like, fist bump,
what I'm
but
talking
he's like crazy thing was you're 3 years old and you said it with conviction.
and
Don't
so
take
and
shit.
that was
With
the
their
thing, and that
diaper
was the
on.
thing is
Yeah.
like he nailed it.
Yeah,
And he didn't
yeah.
just drop one F-bomb, by the way.
Oh,
He went on a tirade.
Yeah.
Like he had the gusto. He really got in there and really,
He went for it.
yeah, he basically has heard the way I talk and said, here's what I'm going to do today. So I have some, swear jar. So I have some improving to do in that regard. But ultimately, he made some mistakes this week. And so there's been some extra parenting. Tony Calabresi's watching. He knows all about this story. He
Speaking of
caught me.
the
He caught me up on the details yesterday.
So you came back to a situation, but ultimately
It worked out.
it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, we worked it out.
Was it a dad win or was it an Alex win?
It was no, Alex didn't
Neither
win.
one. Neither one.
And I didn't win either because of my initial mistakes. But ultimately, I had, thanks to Carlo, my buddy Carlo Land, who's never going to watch the show because he knows me well enough not to want to. But yeah, thanks to him being there when my dad couldn't call me an a-hole, I got
He was
called
there.
out. Yeah.
Do you think, like, looking back after, like, cooling off, like, the next day, like, you would have called him and been like, hey, man, like, or no? Like,
Who,
only,
my dad?
no, your son.
Yeah, like, what do you mean though?
Like, without Carlos, like,
No, I would have
Yeah,
called.
would
I would
you
have called him back anyway,
Oh,
but
okay,
it wouldn't
okay.
have. I would have been. It still would have had a little bit of heat on it.
right.
Um,
Little flavor
yeah,
to
like
it.
I'm pretty self-reflective in general. Like in the moment, I mean, we all make mistakes. I'm prone to them, but
yeah.
I definitely notice when I do it, and I've gotten better.
Yeah.
My dad was one of the first people who would call me out all the time, and I would just hate him. I'm like, shut up! I didn't want to hear it.
Speaking of relationship
Yeah,
with your
my
dad,
dad. I was calling you an a-hole in my mind. Naturally, thanks, Dad.
Speaking of relationships with your dad, that's
Yeah.
what are you
Here we
not
are.
going to do? What is the goal here? Hey man, so you
That was
came
my
back.
week.
Came back to
Angelina's been fine. She's killing it right now.
nothing on
she's
that
lice
front?
free.
Nothing on that. Nothing new on the
On the Angelina front, no, she's
Angelina.
lice free and she's not bleeding, so we're good.
Good call. All right. Well, that's a week. That's a week in the books. Another week in the books. My kids are growing up, man, and I don't know if I dislike it or if I really like it. I took Sterling on a freaking what is it called?
Field
dude?
trip.
Field
Field
trip
trip.
today.
I was like, use your words.
Took her on a field trip today, and I had another little girl in the car, because I had the two car seats, and trying to be that cool dad, right?
Oops.
Trying to be the cool dad. So I had music ready, and it's like, oh, what do you want to play? What do you want to play? And turns out that I don't have a very good voice because this
You got called out.
this
figured this
little
out.
this little girl. I'm singing Bohemian Rhapsody,
Yeah.
which I'm playing that in the car with two 4 and a 5-year-old.
I mean,
and
you don't have a good voice.
You
you know that.
You
know that.
watch your
You know
mouth.
that.
So I'm playing Bohemian Rhapsody, and you have to play it and sing it at the
Yeah,
appropriate level.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so after
Which is at 11.
Yeah,
by the
12.
way.
12. If you
after
have
it's
12.
over,
You gotta
after it's
crank that thing
over,
up to 12. I like that.
Well,
Yeah.
this sweet little girl just tells you like it is, man, and Sterling lies to me, I guess, and says she likes my voice.
She's
but
not lying. She
this,
loves your voice.
This little girl just says, "You don't have a good voice." Just straight up.
Kids say the darndest thing.
Straight up, and I was like, "You don't know what the
Like,
hell you're
yeah, well,
talking
you're gonna
about."
grow up ugly. So that
Well, you just
You don't know what music is.
You just
your mom's an alcoholic.
urge yourself.
Shut up, Tina.
You're gonna ride the bus home, lady. But it was a good
That's why I don't
experience.
go to field
At what
trips.
point during the song did she say this? Was this like during the interlude? Like,
Oh no, this was.
Galileo?
I got straight through all 6 minutes 34 seconds. And
Oh, at the very
I
end.
did
of
Oh,
it,
she waited
called
till
you
the
out.
end.
Oh yeah,
You
wow.
didn't get interrupted.
Oh no, I had it at 11, bro.
Oh,
I
okay.
had it at
All right,
11.
all right, all right.
I couldn't.
You
I was
gotta-
in my own world. I had it popped up, and I was.
You
in
got a
the,
New York Times review of your performance
was
from
in-
a
I was
5-year-old.
She
picturing
let
you
you
hitting
finish.
the "Scaramouche" and like from the
Yeah.
backseat, like, Mr. Gonzalez, can you turn that down? I have
Like
something
she
to
taps
say."
him or
Like,
something?
No,
yeah, like,
absolutely.
super polite.
Absolutely not. No,
Super polite.
I was in my
Mr.
own
Gonzalez.
world. I was gonna finish that bad boy. I was gonna do all 3 parts of it, by myself, no backup singers, nothing. Yeah, I was gonna answer and do it.
So good.
You got to do it at the appropriate level. And so once it was over, and I was like, "Oh, what song do you guys want next?" And then she just goes, "You don't have a good voice." And,
That's so good.
and I just was like, "Well,
I
what-
would. I wish I could bottle that.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
Oh God.
I'm sorry, I didn't. You want me to play Kid Pops on YouTube for you?"
Yeah, she's 5.
Yeah. So we played that, and she
Don't
was
make
like,
her the weird one.
I want to play this song, and so we played that, and guess what? I sang that thing too.
Yeah,
know
you
why?
have to sing.
Yeah,
Keep on singing.
absolutely. Keep on singing.
You don't like it, you're gonna hear some more of it.
Yeah, gonna last forever. Yeah. See, so,
Getting back
I thought I
together,
was getting
you
back
amateur,
together. You don't even know the
idiot.
word. Yeah, you
But,
are a bad singer.
I am a phenomenal singer.
You're a bad
just
singer
so you
and you're
know. But
dumb.
anyways, I was the only dad there. Everyone else, all the moms went, and so I was the only dad there. So representing Dad Fiction, wearing Dad Fiction T-shirt, which are available still. So hop on dadfiction.net and buy yourself an original Dad Fiction T-shirt. Everyone likes it. Trust me.
Hoodies.
You need to get hoodies. What's summer?
I need
What
one.
do
I
we
got to
do?
get rid of this crap.
Right.
Tom
Yeah.
gives me crap
Yeah,
every
that's-
time he
all
sees it.
That's
So,
gotta go.
Kids growing up. Let's get into our first topic because we have these 2 unbelievably articulate gentlemen here.
Don't oversell it.
Yeah. Whoa.
Don't-
whoa.
Don't
That's
oversell
like
it.
4 words.
Well,
Hold
I've
on.
got
bar.
I'm not trying to bait and switch the audience. Here,
I've got
man.
super deep voice Timmy Rico over here on the left, just whispering sweet nothings into the ear, and then Brian over here with the sharp comments. It's just what's going to happen. I don't
daggers.
know. I don't know what's going to happen. So let's talk about. So this segment, we're talking about just expectations of being a dad. What do you think it's going to be like? Just first off, what do you think it's going to be like?
I will take this because I tell people all the time, and I don't. I mean, I love using this movie as a reference, but Owen Wilson,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Owen Wilson.
when he's
Wow.
when he's like when they're talking about the asteroid hitting Earth, and he's like, they're trying to the NASA astronauts.
This
are
is
trying
Oh,
to
historic.
we're talking Armageddon.
Yeah, Armageddon. Yeah,
This is
sorry,
historic.
Sorry.
This is historic.
And he's like,
Yeah.
he's just a blue collar guy, right? He's just a driller. NASA's throwing all these, scientific words at him. He's like, scariest imagined environment.
Exactly.
That's what we're talking about,
Yeah.
right? And the guy's like,
That's all you
yeah,
gotta
he's
say.
like, okay, that's all you gotta say.
That's all you gotta say.
And then when he's on the spaceship and he's like really, really excited, but it's also the most scared of it, like that, like
Maybe 98%
Yeah, like
excited,
that's-
2% scared. Or it could be the other way. I don't know.
that's exactly.
Really strap me in because
Yeah,
I don't
really-
want to
yeah,
fall
Make that
out.
really
Yeah.
tight.
Make it really tight. I don't want to
Yeah.
fall out.
And for some reason, I always equate that to like what people, but
That's actually pretty good. That's
that's-
pretty accurate.
Yeah.
but at the same time, like I'm not like it's the most excited I've ever been for anything in my life. Like
Yeah.
I was like super jazzed, like to get jazzed. Like I'm so old. Wow.
Officially,
You put a dollar
are.
in a swear jar for me.
Nice.
Kiss it.
You want to write your name on it? Jeez.
But getting married was like I was really excited to get married, and
Yeah.
like this is a natural progression of things, like having a kid, like because we've been trying for 4 years, so for it to finally
Dude,
have,
congratulations.
Thank
man.
Yeah, I'll
you.
cheers to that.
yeah, so
Cheers to that.
now it's
You gotta
finally
do it.
happening, and I feel like I'm like. Out of my like core group of friends, I'm like one of the last ones. Like some of them are on number 2, and some are on number 3
Threes
and
and
4. Yeah, so it's
Idiots
like
like me.
so to join the
three.
club at number 1, like it's a real big deal. So, but I'm
That's
really
awesome.
excited.
So that you equated it to a movie. That's pretty. That's actually a pretty apt
You nailed it.
description. Yeah. What about you, Brian? What do you think?
I can't even follow up on that one because that was pretty perfect.
Sorry,
really,
bro.
it's just like the ebb and flow, the back and forth of it. It's you're excited and then you're worried about it. There's you just have these moments where you're I can't wait to be playing with my son. I know I'm gonna be playing little league and playing football and going forward. But then
Look at how
You have the-
far ahead you went.
the reality of like
Right.
you know
Skipped it.
college,
He went straight past dirty
finance
diapers.
and everything.
He skipped
yeah.
all the
All the
the
good
not
stuff.
the best stuff.
all the
like
gross
diaper,
stuff.
yeah.
I can't wait till he's
Well, I
in
had
college.
I had a buddy who it's my wife's best friend, and she got remarried to this guy. And he texted me one day, and he's like, "Man, you must be blowing through the books. Like you seem like a guy who's reading." And I'm like, I said I got one book, and it's written by an ex-Marine, and it's like what to expect as a dad.
Yes.
Calvin and Hobbes.
I read that book.
And after like, and after, and I've been like sticking like, because he writes it month by month, and after like month 3, and I'm like,
I'm not gonna.
this book should have been 1 page, and it should have been, if you have any sense of common sense, you'll be
You'll be
fine.
fine.
End
Yeah,
of the book.
100%.
And I was like, and that's what I texted him. I'm like, dude, it's all common sense, like,
Yeah.
and your just natural instinct takes over. And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, okay, like,
I didn't.
there's
I didn't
no
read
need
a
to get, like-
So
page.
do you
Yeah,
guys?
like-
One page.
Did
So-
you guys read books?
No.
No,
I,
but
dude, I was 20.
I was 20 years
Now,
old.
I was
couldn't
reading
read.
the back of a condom box like, what happened?
These
Nine-
things are broken.
99%.
It should be on the
effective.
box. Apparently it is.
No, Amanda gave me a book by a comedian, and it was it was just a collection of like funny anecdote stories, and that was about it.
What comedian?
And I
Yeah, what was?
McIntyre.
no, I think it was Gaffigan.
Jim
Yeah,
Gaffigan.
Yeah.
They were all
Like
his
Dad is
stories,
Fat,
or he was
yeah.
sharing stories.
It was his story. So it was
Okay.
his dad. And he's got
Okay.
like 7 kids or whatever. So it was just
Right.
she gave that to me, and I read probably 50% of it, and then life happened.
Was it
and
half or was it 50%?
about 50%?
Okay.
Of it. Because of math.
8-10.
But when
Because
I,
of
when I 8-10. It was
8-10.
It was 8-10.
But I have a question though for you guys. Is Brian? I mean, because you're having your first child, and you have your own expectations. Do people like me that have kids and tell you, "Oh, you're never gonna sleep again"? What do you consistently hear from stupid people like us that just
Like you.
like AJ
Nope.
and myself? What do you hear? What are the most common things that you hear of what to expect when you have a kid?
And what I actually believe too, and what I
Yeah,
actually
well, that's
absorb.
is it 50% of what you hear? You actually
Yeah,
believe?
sometimes I hear some bullshit out there that I don't always want to absorb, but I think at least for me right now with like work is like crazy busy right now, and so I think I hear a constant message like take the time out, like
Yeah.
really take the
Yep.
days off, take the weeks off,
Do it.
like it's gonna fly by, and really want to appreciate those moments, especially as they're developing. Within the first 6 months, you're hitting milestones almost every other week, and you want to be there for it.
Yeah.
I would say take it no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't care how busy work is. If you can, if it's an option for you, because that's not for everybody,
Yeah.
do it. I was fortunate enough. I took, I think, 4 months off.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was in mortgage, and I was
That's
kind of
right,
working for
that's
myself,
right. Yeah,
so I could work from home.
Right.
And Melina had a little bit of a challenge. She had a tough time after the baby. So for me, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
luckily, I'm different than I don't sleep much anyway. So the sleep deprivation didn't mean nothing to me. It had no impact on me whatsoever. Like all that sleep stuff, it didn't matter to me.
My friends that have kids and say like get ready to never sleep again. Like I got a text message from somebody at like 3:45 in the morning, and I happened to be up.
Yeah.
And it was his kid had spilled a box of cereal in the middle of the night for some reason, and then the kid was gracious enough to, and I think he's 18 months, and he like went to go get the broom and the dustpan, and he sent me the message with a caption that said, "Are you ready?" And I was like, well, I'm up looking at your video, so
Yeah.
I'm up with you. Like,
Yeah,
you should have
right.
called me, man. I would have come and helped. Like
I don't know if you understand, but
but
cereal's dry.
yeah,
I
like,
could sweep that up.
I already don't,
Yeah.
sleep anyway. So
He didn't
yeah, I
burn
think
the
I'm
house
ready, like,
down.
Yeah, like,
So what? So other than the not sleeping, the not sleeping thing, which, it really depends on the kid that you get. I mean, for a guy, for a dad, it really depends on the baby. I mean, the first 2-3 months they're going to be eating, sleeping, and pooping. That's pretty much it. So you're going to wake up maybe once or twice, give the baby, here you go, feed it, go back to sleep. You might miss an hour of sleep depending
Right.
on how long, and then later
it's
on,
different for everybody.
But
well,
yeah,
that's
then-
like, sleep when the baby sleeps and do this, like,
Yeah.
I was talking to Wes the other day. I was hanging out at Wes' house,
Yeah.
and he was like, dude, you're going to figure out your own routine.
Yeah.
Don't listen. Everyone's an expert, and don't listen to
Yeah.
him, because you're going to figure out your own
Yeah,
thing,
you'll
and
figure out
whatever's
your
going to
own
work
thing.
for you.
I have
like,
one piece of advice, and I've given it here a couple times, and it's the only thing I tell anyone because I don't. Again, I told my kid I was going to drown him.
yeah, you did threaten murder the
Yeah,
other day.
I
so-
threatened to
so
murder
I'll
my
take this with a
15-year-old.
grain of salt.
Yeah, I mean, don't. This is something I believe wholeheartedly and would sign a death warrant. I mean, this is like the one thing, and it may not be a problem in your relationship. Don't keep score with your wife.
No.
Like
no.
don't worry about who changed the last
Nope,
diaper.
Not at all.
Don't worry about who got the last bottle. She gave birth. She carried the baby.
Exactly.
My opinion, and it is now and always will be, just do it. Your child is uncomfortable. Your child is sad. Your child is scared. Whatever it is that's making them cry, something is wrong.
Right.
Just get up and do it.
Remember Cat Williams?
Yeah.
Hungry, happy, sleepy.
Yeah.
Except it's like hungry, happy, poopy. Like
Yeah,
that's
hungry,
pretty
happy,
much
poopy.
like
So it's one of those things like
Yeah.
just the only thing I tell, because I don't know anything, but the only thing I tell any new parent or parent to be is the one thing that can doom, and I've had plenty of friends who had kids, and I was the first one by a mile
right.
of my friends to have kids. And the one thing that has always been a challenge in all my friends' relationships that are doing this, the one thing is the keeping score. Well, I changed. Can you believe this? I changed 3 diapers in a row and shit. I was like, so? Did you squeeze a human out of your vagina?
Yeah.
No, then shut up.
Shut your face.
Then shut your entire face until you die. Like you didn't do anything. You had a great time once, and then she had to go through hell
One time.
for the
For 9
better
months.
part of a year.
Yeah.
You had a good time one time.
And then she went through a life-altering, body-altering, self-image altering
Mind
situation
altering, yeah.
that you had no part in, that she had to do entirely on her own. You stood there and were as supportive as you could be, but you don't know.
Why'd
So
you look
maybe-
at Brian?
so
Why'd you
maybe-
look at Brian?
Yeah.
You looked at Brian when
Like
you said
Brian's not gonna do
supportive.
that.
Well, but he's
What
like
a
right
jerk.
across from me.
It's like,
I didn't mean anything by that.
No.
But it's just one of those things like just don't.
I feel like it's like a and I'm not a Star Wars fan, but like a Jedi thing. Like I'm already like doing this like 2 moves ahead thing, you know,
That's
like,
awesome.
like you know what I'm saying? Like and it's just like I don't know if it's just something that happens, and I
But
don't know.
you,
Brian
and
can
you're a
speak
little
on this,
bit
but it's
older.
like,
You're a
even
little
at
bit,
work,
and
like,
you have
it's just-
friends.
yeah, it's just carrying on, like it's carrying over like all aspects of life, like trying to be, ahead of the game basically.
Well, Brian,
but
you said that you didn't read. Or you read like a little bit.
I'm
and
still
then
reading
you
it because we're
figured-
only
still
on
reading.
we're on month 7.
On month 7.
got
Oh,
some
you're
time.
reading
You
it
got
like
some
month
time.
as you.
I
yeah.
tried. I
One
was
in
gonna read the whole
advance.
thing and then go back.
Don't worry,
but it was
sweetheart,
like-
he's reading it.
But
Yeah,
what
yeah.
if, yeah, he got credit for that one.
Yeah.
Brian, what else have you done to, I guess, prepare for the birth? Because that's kind of what all these books.
Don't
have
look
been.
at it.
Don't look. What have you done? What have you done
Don't
to
look
prepare?
down,
We made that decision like to stay above the curtain, like well even before we thought about having
Brian.
it.
North of the equator is what we call it
Yeah.
in my house.
Tim.
Well above.
Do not.
I've done. I
look.
looked. I looked.
I have
3
I have
times.
a, I have a
3 times.
every.
Okay. You catch it too?
No, but I mean, Amanda had C-section.
Look, I've seen.
hold on,
I've
hold
seen
on, hold
Human
on.
Centipede.
Hold on.
It's not as
Hold
bad.
on. Everybody in this room went to Catholic school, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So did you guys have the 7th grade sex ed Nova
Yeah.
video?
Mhm.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That should have been
Oh,
enough
the
right then and there in
crowning
7th
video?
grade. Yeah.
Yeah,
Where,
that
where
was-
it's all
It's
nice,
worse.
It's all
where it's all
white.
butterflies and happy,
It's
and then it
worse.
shows the delivery room.
And
You're
then
right.
it's
No,
all-
I know. I'm not, but it's
Yeah.
that's been established since day one. No.
No, I looked behind the curtain
Yeah.
for sure,
Don't.
and it was on accident the first time.
Nope.
But it was on accident the first time, not the second
You had to
two.
go wash your eyes. Yeah.
It was very disturbing.
You
the
will
fir- the
never
first time.
look at a certain thing the same again.
That's exactly what it's proven. It's like proven.
No,
Well, not for you, but
never.
So okay, I have 2 pieces of advice.
Don't stay above the curtain.
One's about being a human, and the other's about just
Brian,
for
you're
your- for
but
your own
Brian,
preservation.
you're a big reader, and what?
it's good for you,
You're
man.
a big. He knows how to read, top to bottom, left to right.
Yeah, I do. I read good.
top
I
to top.
read good.
So did you did you go the other route? Are you reading a bunch of books?
No, actually, I'm not. So I read the one book and really.
the Marine guy. You read the same one?
Yeah, and what I came out of it really was to make sure that my wife had food at all times.
Pretty
That's really
much.
what it was. Make
Pretty
sure
much.
she's fed,
Pretty
which I'm
much.
kind of failing at most.
He
So-
he puts a
yeah.
list in there of like 100 nice things to do just
Yes.
because I'm on like number 78.
Good for you.
Oh, good
And
for you,
they're the
man.
most tiniest thing. I mean, I'm just like I'm not on 78.
I was a
but-
big fan of the foot rub when the foot rub is just ran, and I'm still a fan of it. It's just hey,
She rubbed your feet.
no, I rubbed.
I was gonna say you get your foot. You
I
get your
wish.
feet rubbed all the time. That's nice.
yeah,
man.
I
was like, yeah,
would have been a
I'm
salesman
into
of the year
that.
for that if I could pull that one off. Like, hey, get your pregnant wife to rub your feet. Here's a how-to book.
Feels
That's a
amazing.
bestseller.
You should write a book. Yeah,
That's a
one
bestseller.
chapter.
That's a bestseller. What about this? What about the whole nesting thing that experts tell you to do? Like, have you done the nursery?
Yeah. So
and
we
all
have
that
done
stuff?
the nursery. We actually painted the walls 3 times now.
3 times.
Well, yeah, it was
You're
a
only-
it was a coding issue. My
Oh.
wife and I, we both did strokes, and it was she's got a heavy stroke, I got a light stroke, so there was.
I have nothing to say about that.
I
Let's
put
leave
it out
that
there
one
just
alone.
for you.
Let's leave-
I'm just dangling it out there for your age. I just think if you bite.
There are 19 new holes in my tongue right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what
Number
color?
two.
What color? did you
It's like a
go-
it's like a neutral gray, but so
neutral
like
gray.
the walls are painted. We got the crib, we got the rocker. So we've got the nursery like nicely set
the
up.
essentials.
So
Yeah, that rocker was like the best thing probably of like trying out stuff for the nursery. Those things are wildly comfortable.
we had been living in Ocean Beach
Yeah.
in a
Yes.
1-bedroom cottage a block from the cliffs, right?
Awesome.
So and then come December, it's okay. Like I'm pregnant. I was like okay, and it was like, well, we need to move. And it was like, well, like right now, like it's Christmas.
Like right now,
can
like
we get through Christmas and New Year's and
tomorrow?
stuff? And it was like, no, well, we need to look. And she wanted to wait until June.
Negative.
And I said,
no.
I
Don't do
said,
that.
I said, if we don't do this by April or May,
It's not gonna happen.
we'll both be single parent. Like we're gonna be single parents. We'll kill each other.
Yeah.
So the whole nesting, we moved. We're in Tierra Santa now, townhouse, renting, painted, furniture's in there. Just had the first shower.
All right.
The closet's full of diapers.
Congratulations, man.
So is that a big mental milestone for you as dads? Because I know it definitely is from all the things that I've heard and read. It is for the mom, but for dads, I mean, I had a good time putting that together, putting the crib together, putting the things, just working with your hands. getting it
My
together.
experience is
I-
so different than all of yours.
I love that stuff. Like I love like new gadgets
Yeah.
and like I can't wait so my wife had access to the registry obviously because she made it.
Yeah.
And like so it's like
You didn't go to do the gun on your own with
No.
with her?
You did
No,
a
she
gun
did-
for
no,
your
she-
baby
Oh my
registry?
God,
Oh.
yes.
Oh, I'm sorry we did. I'm sorry we
Oh,
did.
yes.
I'm sorry we
You
did.
didn't- I had
But
two of
Babies
those
but
things.
Babies R Us was going out of business.
Oh, that's
So
true.
it got all weird.
Whoa.
Yeah. So Anyway, long story short, my wife's she's like refreshing every hour on the hour the registry, and
To
it's
see
like
who's buying her stuff.
yeah, and it's like my mom's like
awesome.
my mom's like 71, right? So her old like church friends and stuff that are coming to the shower, like they're not going online. Like,
online,
they're
right.
like, is there a registry? And it's like, yeah, like
Go
I
into
could,
the
you know.
store.
Here's a catalog, sweetheart.
Go into the store and print it out. Like
And my mom's telling me like, oh, my friends are saying they had so much fun shopping for the baby, and I'm like, what did they buy? Like nudie magazines and cigars? Like
Nudie
you know,
magazine
like, are they
day.
waiting for his 18th birthday?
That's
like what
awesome.
you know? So
well,
anyway,
at least that's
the
coming.
Anyway, the shower was a huge success. You know,
You get a ton of stuff. yeah.
exactly. So and she's gonna have 2. So
Yeah. Did you? Was that a big milestone for you, Brian? Was putting all that stuff together?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was like a little more a realization, like, hey, it's actually happening, and yeah, it's more physical. You know, you read a book, and it's it's a mental component, and then once you're actually in the room, you're actually physically assembling things, and yeah, it does put a little more
It's real.
real.
So let me ask you this,
Did I ever-
because I was awkward. Well, I was awkward. So tell me if I'm the only retard here. Is that
Don't use that word.
he was a
You
retard.
saved it with the
Retard.
you saved it with the enunciation.
The
but-
retard. Yeah,
Retard.
'cause
you
Yeah.
are. I'm so glad you did that disclaimer thing at the beginning.
Yeah,
I was like,
absolutely.
we are-
Uh,
on.
so
We're going
here's
to
how
jail.
my brain works is that I
say
was
that.
trying to anticipate like every possible worst case scenario when I was putting the
But you
the
can't
room
math.
together. I can't math.
You can't math.
I can't math. I don't do math on the weekends. I do math all day. I don't need to do it any other time. Shut it down. I was trying to figure out every other scenario. Like, oh, okay, so the diapers are gonna go right here because I'm gonna be right here, and then you're whipping all this stuff, all this
okay, yeah,
up,
yeah.
and then it's right there because if I have to step, it's gonna irritate me. Then you
Diaper genie half
go
step.
over here. Yeah. So I was trying to really navigate the whole room and figure out every possible scenario. Did you guys do that too, or am I just
wait, hold on.
an
For
idiot?
context, what time did you do this? Like the month before?
This was
or-
when we had all the stuff, and I put it all together.
But is this like third trimester? Or this you did?
Oh, this was as soon as we got everything. So I
Can you throw the guy a bone here?
Amanda might be able to do that. Amanda might be able to say.
We're gonna
hey,
call
well,
it
Was
on
it?
7.
Was it? I'm gonna ask. Was it pre 810 or post 810?
Yeah,
That's definitely
very good
It
point.
was probably It
It was
was.
pretty-
I don't remember. I
We're
honestly.
gonna call
I-
we're gonna call him on 7.
I was very concerned about that. Like the layout. Like I
Yeah.
want if you go on YouTube, you go crazy. You can spend 14.
I don't even think
days-
they had YouTube when I had a kid.
I work from home,
Probably
so
not.
I definitely.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
they
So
did.
if
They had
you,
that
if you want to
dial-up,
research
like
this, you'll see
AOL?
there are dad videos and there are mom videos.
Yeah.
So there was a dad who made sure that the nursery was as tech friendly as possible for his newborn,
Tech
with
friendly.
with like an Alexa, you know.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, so
really?
like Alexa,
I
turn the
hate
lights
that
on.
so
Alexa, turn the
much.
mobile on. All that stuff. So he dialed in this whole. And then there's the parents who are they have the baby and they say like, you know, don't go crazy with the nursery because you might not spend any time in your nursery.
That's a good
You might
point.
spend
That's a good point.
like our nursery's upstairs. Well, we have a pack and play downstairs, and we're gonna have like
What,
the
in your
rocker
room?
and all that stuff. No, in the living room.
Oh.
So if I'm downstairs and I'm in my chair and I'm feeding the baby, I'm not going up. No offense, I'm not going up to the nursery. Like So
I'm not offended.
and I told my wife, I said, let's not go bonkers. I mean, we can make it nice and and decorate
Yeah.
and do what you want to do, but we might not be spending any time, and the baby might not even be sleeping. in
For the
it.
first
So-
for the first like 4 months now, it's not
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
and we got a bassinet that it's a halo bassinet, so it swivels over the bed.
Got it.
oh
So
perfect.
the baby's in bed, but not in bed.
We got it.
Dig it.
Did you get that?
Oh yeah.
That was like the first
Good
thing my
for
mom
you.
bought.
Oh,
and it was
totally.
like, thank you.
God, technology's awesome.
Yeah, right. I'm like, oh, we had a
Makes
pack.
you want to have another one, huh?
Nope.
Well, I mean, you have it. The door's
if
not.
I meet a really nice lady who
the
wants
door's
me to
not
have sex with
closed.
her,
The door's not closed for that
and we
one.
have a
Yeah, you
baby
didn't pull the
because
goalie
I'm
yet.
irresponsible.
Brian, what did you do? Did you just put it together and be like, oh, I think that goes there, or did Grace tell you where things were going?
Grace had a pretty good idea of where things were going. I was more of the confirmation. Yeah, that looks good.
It looks good.
I
Yeah,
like
you
that,
probably
that
makes sense.
sense.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Man, that's okay. So it's not just me.
Did I ever tell you the story of how we nested? I had four
Please
friends.
do.
Over. I had 4 friends over. We were watching a heavyweight boxing match. I can't tell you who was fighting because I don't remember because I didn't get to watch it. And so I had a bunch. Or no, it was UFC. It was a UFC fight. And
Very different. Very different.
So Frank Lococo was over.
I know him.
And a kid who worked in HR at the mortgage company I was working at, and then 2 other buddies, like friends of friends and stuff. So we're all in the living room watching it, and Melina comes down the hall and goes, "Oh, this is what we're doing?" I was like, well, "I don't know what you're doing, but this is what we're doing." And I've got a handle bottle of Captain Morgan because I drank rum at the time.
Oh, Captain
A
Morgan.
handle bottle of Captain Morgan and some soda lying around. I'd ordered like 11 pizzas from Little Caesars because I was fat. Still am. And so like we were just
You
getting
can't tell.
Be
from
nice.
this.
the camera adds 10 pounds, you a-holes.
Yeah, I know.
But
Jeez, how many
And-
cameras are actually on?
Suck
us?
it in
One,
now.
two. There's
Yeah,
3
yeah.
cameras. Anyway,
There
so-
are 3 cameras, right?
Hey,
So-
shut up! I'm telling a story.
Continue.
And so we're doing our we're hanging out, and she's like, "Oh, okay." Do nothing. I was like, "Yeah, that was what I was gonna do." It was like I had no intention of doing anything. I
That's
told,
a good one.
I was like, I told you, this wasn't a surprise. Like I told her all day, like this is what's happening. I went and did all the yard work. I cleaned the whole house, did laundry, dishes, everything. I did everything a person needs to do in a day.
Do nothing. That is
And she comes down the hallway,
that's a nut punch right there.
waddling like, "You're gonna do something today." I was like, "What do you need me to do?" She's like, "Did you buy paint?" I was like, "Yeah, like 2 weeks ago." "I don't see the room painted." I was like, "Then paint it," which was not the thing to say.
That
No,
was the
and like,
that was the
I was
worst
22
possible
years
thing.
old.
That was-
Yeah.
Okay, well,
You still
at
have
20
common sense. at some
22-year-old you, that was the best thing to say.
Yeah.
32-year-old you, I could
No,
probably chose
yeah,
something better.
20,
And
22,
she's
that's
gonna
still
look
the
at me-
worst thing.
Dude,
you
she
can
looked at
say.
me
No,
went-
but in your head, and
No.
So she looks at me. No.
I would have said the same thing.
Yeah.
No,
so
you
she
would
looks at me
not
and goes,
have. At 22,
"You
I
wa-
would've. At
no, you have
22,
common sense.
I'm going to finish." She looks at me and goes, "You want me to paint it?" And Frankie, this guy, Refugio, and 2 other guys are like, "You're not going to let her paint it, are you?" I was like, "Are you going to paint it?" They're like, "Yeah."
Voice of
Have
reason.
you met her? Like, because they're like, "She's gonna kill us in your, like, she's gonna kill you in your sleep and then find us. She's gonna go on a murder spree. Like, we have to do something."
Guilty by
She's gonna call the
association.
cable company and get this fight turned off.
Yeah, she would cut the cord right
That's
there.
wicked
it's like,
smart right
nope,
there.
she wouldn't go that far. She would just smash the TV.
Oh yeah, or worse.
A real
Yeah,
nut
she's.
shot.
I have a whole nother. Anyway, I could do another.
That happened already.
We're divorced. Anyway,
We're
it's-
divorced. And
So she wanted to paint because it was my daughter. This is my second kid. She's like, "We're gonna paint it bright pink," and I was like, "Yeah, let's do that." And so, I go to pick up something, and I come back, and Frankie is on a ladder painting the room, and I'm like, "What?"
It's a good friend.
I'm like, "What did you do?" He's like, "She's pregnant." I was like, "She's not handicapped." She's like, "She's pregnant." She's like, "What?" She's like, "What's wrong with you?"
I'm glad we read Dad Fiction Legal Disclosure.
Right, again.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was like,
This is what you get.
I was young. I
Jesus.
didn't know. And I
He's
was
a
like,
terrible person.
I was like, the baby's due in months. I was like, I can paint this whenever. I was like, but you didn't, and she's mad, and we're here. and my other buddy who didn't, it's like his first time ever over. He's like sitting on the couch watching the fights, eating pizza. He's like, "You guys need any help?" So I get up on this ladder like angry and drunk because I've been drinking for hours.
Of course you have.
And I'm on this stupid little step stool ladder, and I've got the huge baby dresser lined up, and the whole room's set up. And rather than just move things like a smart person, I was like, I'm gonna paint around him. And
So
in
it
the middle of painting, again, I was drunk and very overweight, like 50 pounds bigger than I am now, which is a lot of humans.
It's a Backstreet Boy.
It's 3 Backstreet Boys, and so I'm like trying to reach over and paint, and I kind of lose my balance. And I backflop on the dresser, which explodes on impact. IKEA does not make solid furniture. So now I'm crushed, bleeding in multiple parts of my body from the whole thing exploding on me. My Frankie is hysterical. He can't breathe, and he is not fat. He's all muscular. And my other buddy's like, "Hey, you okay?" And I can't say words because the wind is knocked out of me. I'm bleeding. I'm embarrassed, and I'm covered in pink paint. And now I have to put a whole new. All the things are happening to me. And she walks into them and goes, "Are you happy now?"
Are you having?
You did something.
Dude, you're a freaking cartoon character. I swear to God.
Yeah, dude.
Uh,
2005 to 2000 or 2002 to
To-
2009.
To 2000 and
Were
yesterday.
Ridiculous.
To 2000 and yesterday.
Shut up, Ryan.
All right. Jesus. Back to.
So that was
new
that
dads.
was my
Jesus.
nesting story.
That's your nest. Okay. I guess it fit. You tie it back, tie a bow on that, put it together.
That was my
Uh,
part.
Three coats of paint
you
ain't
got
so
to
bad,
say
huh,
it.
Brian?
Yeah, you got to say
exactly.
Brian's like,
oh,
Brian's like, I'm
man.
lucky. Thanks.
Sweating.
Grace, I love you.
So
Grace, I love you.
four of us finished at 3 a.m.
Good for you.
and I didn't go to the hospital.
Brian, who won the basketball game? Is it over?
I was actually texting the wife. Last I saw it was Warriors were
Golden State.
Winning.
Golden State.
I'm not
They
gonna-
won.
In 4.
doing
They
what,
won?
doing what Warriors do.
Jesus.
They won.
All right.
Yeah, they won.
110 to 102.
They're probably going to sweep this series. Like
Well, obviously.
4-0. I thought it was going to be like a gentleman's sweep.
A gentleman said what? 4-1.
They let them win one game. Yeah,
At
exactly.
home. All right. So one question I actually want to get deep into, guys, is what are you going to take from how you were raised and your relationship with your dads? What are you going to take into your relationship with your kids? We'll start first with Mr. Fedor.
You're really close to my dad.
Yeah.
So you have
So
a
you
very,
can say bad things. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, no, I think he actually
He's
set
like,
like a
"Well."
really good example of what it is to like the roughhousing. Yeah, he's really good at roughhousing.
Yeah, with my kids, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's like a really strong memory that I have with even with as now is just roughing house with my dad. So wrestling and just doing what fathers and sons do, and it actually it's not even limited to just sons, daughters too. So that's definitely probably one of the strongest things I'll take from my father is, getting beyond the embarrassment of getting on your hands and knees as an adult and playing with kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just like getting right into it, and you know what? Who cares what people have to say? He's having a good time. My dad's loving it, and the kids are loving it too. And I think that's what's most important.
So you're definitely gonna try to beat up your kids? Is that what you said?
I might even drown them.
In the ocean or
Don't
somewhere else?
drown them.
Yeah, somewhere else.
Don't
just-
strangle them and then drown them.
Just at Santee Lakes, not in the ocean.
Just in Santee Lakes. It's 2 foot of water. It's fine.
I took him fishing there for the first time. No big deal.
Tibby Rico, what are you gonna bring to the table?
AJ was texting me and he was earlier today, so I've been thinking about it. And the more I think back about my dad and like what my dad instilled in me, because I never finished school, but I feel like my work ethic is something that like speaks for itself. So like I feel like whatever job I'm doing or whatever task is put in front of me, like I will do that to the best of my ability. So I hope by the time like my son is old enough, to realize what's going on, being young and being a baby, changing diapers and all that, he's not gonna,
Yeah,
all
he's
that
not
stuff.
gonna
Like,
remember that.
I had a guy ask me the other day, like, when are you taking him to Disneyland for the first time? I'm like, I don't know when he's gonna remember it, like there's no offense to all the Disney freaks out there, but
AJ.
so anyway, long story short, but work ethic.
So how
definitely,
do you instill that? Just by
and
being an example?
that's what I don't know, because like I just always remember my dad, I'm not saying my dad was always at work or always working, but like my dad was because there was a time that I worked with my dad, at the same company. And like when I would run into people and even after he retired, it was like people had nothing but good things to say. Like, oh man, your old man, like not only was he a nice guy, but like, man, like the guy was just kick ass. We'd ask him to do something and he'd do it, and it was
He
done
really
fun.
like set the example
Exactly.
for you.
It was like, so I just like when it was like, okay, I'm not going to go to school and school's not for me, so I got to start working. So that's the only thing, that's the only thing that's going to get me by is, doing my job to the best of my ability. So
Yeah.
that's,
That's a good one. So you got
Yeah.
that. You feel like you got your work ethic from your dad,
100%.
and you're
100%.
hoping to pass that along.
100%.
That's
yeah.
cool.
And I don't mean just whatever my son chooses to do for profession when he's old enough. It's anything he chooses, whether it's his first day of Little League. So when I was a kid,
Oh, there's a story.
There's a story. When I was a kid, my dad would coach. He coached t-ball, right? So my sister would help him. So my sister's 13 years older than me, and my brother's 16 years older. My brother was in the Army, but my sister was still living at home. She moved back from Hawaii, and she's living with us. And so it's t-ball. I'm 5 years old.
It's crushing.
They don't keep score. I used to switch hit, right? Like all this, whatever. Some lady down
No
the
big
left
deal.
field, some kid on our team down the left field line, his mom would keep score at the t-ball games. So after every inning, I knew what she was doing. I wasn't dumb. I'd run down and ask her what the score was. At the end of the game, at the end of my first t-ball game
Just keep it going.
for
F9.
Riedler's Raiders at North Park Little League, we lost like 17-1 or something, and I was devastated. I was never playing baseball ever again. I started no breather crying, and I ran as far as I could
Probably
run.
why they don't keep score.
Exactly.
Go get the ball while you're out there.
And my dad didn't like run and chase me. He walked. He very slowly walked
Let you get it out.
and let me get it out. But by the time he got to me, it was a gritting teeth. If you ever fucking embarrass me and fucking cry on a goddamn baseball field ever again, I swear to God, I will fucking. You will not. Like just expletive. It's the Tom Hanks like
Literally,
the-
exactly that.
I was
Yeah,
looking
there's
at
no
that
crying
thing,
in baseball.
The like
Evelyn.
Evelyn, exactly.
Evelyn.
I was Evelyn, and my dad was Tom Hanks. Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and it was like, and from that day forward, it was like, okay,
We're good.
there is no crying in baseball.
They're
Point
tough.
blank. Like
Boom.
just those, like so that kind of stuff. Like,
Tom Doyle paid you a great compliment.
what did he say?
He said, Tim is the man. When I damn near cut off my hand at as an rookie, he came out and helped us clean up. Made man in my book for all things
He's a
Omback.
made man.
Oh, he is a made man.
He's a made
Yeah,
man.
he. I wasn't even a rookie, and I was trying to become a member, and it rained. I don't know if you guys know, but a couple years ago at OTL
Yeah,
it rained,
yeah.
and for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And I just happened to text him like the day. So it got rained out. They sent everybody home, and the next morning I texted him. I said, "Hey man, do you like? I know you're a rookie, but like they probably need help because it rained. Like it's a fucking cesspool down there, you know, like." And he was like, "Yeah, sure. I'll, and I was living in Oak. He's like, I'll pick you up." So he picks me up, and he's got this thing on, and I'm like, "Nice try, asshole." Like I'm talking shit to him, like like now I'm gonna be doing your job today. And he's like, "No, dude, trust me, there'll be tons of stuff to do." But yeah, I helped him out for the day. So
Brian, did your dad coach any of your teams or anything like that?
No, Ken didn't actually coach anything, but he was an avid like video recorder.
Oh, was
Yeah, he was like there back
That's
and like
huge.
looking back. He's got
That's
the recorder
huge.
set up on the tripod
huge.
and like come back and like, hey, look, your back foot's moving all over the place. Settle that shit down.
So calm it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I mean, your dad coached, my dad coached, your dad obviously coached, and Ken was more of the
Yeah, he like stepped back. It's funny because he's coaching now, or he used to coach
Yeah.
for the adults. But yeah, no, it's kind of funny. Definitely the personal coach, just
Yeah.
one-on-one.
one-on-one. The more one-on-one. Is there anything that a part of his parenting style that you are going to leave behind in your journey as a dad?
I think probably in the more grand scheme of things is probably the divorce is probably the biggest thing I'll probably leave behind. And it's tough too. It's a really tough topic, I know. And
How old were you?
so I was in 4th grade, so it wasn't maybe like 10 or 11.
Okay, so you were older than me when my parents got divorced.
How old?
I was 6.
Oh yeah, that's
I was 6. My brother was not 8 or 9.
yeah.
So it affected him more so than it did me.
Right, and then imagine that for my sister.
Yeah.
she's
Oh, yeah.
way more. She's 5 years older than me, so I really did get to her as well. So that's definitely one major thing. Sometimes you just it happens, but I think that's probably been like instilled as to with Grace. I even talked about it with Grace too when we got married. Like this is, if we have children, this is something that has to be permanent, and really we have to. I will do whatever it takes to make sure this holds on because the impact on your kids is it's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it a couple times. Child divorce, what our schedule was, and the splits, and the
Oh my
times,
God,
and,
yeah.
and all those things, and the sacrifices my dad made, and all that stuff. So, yeah, you're still effed up, and your parents are together.
I'm like,
Oh, you heard him?
I'm looking
Yeah.
at Ryan.
Oh, did
I'm
you
looking
hear
at
him?
Ryan here.
No, I didn't hear him. I'm like, I feel
Yeah.
AJ.
I shipped
But,
it from diagonally.
he's
to
sitting
like,
right here.
Don't divorce parent shame me, you asshole.
Your parents are still together. God bless
Prick.
them. God bless them. But so that's actually a good one. That's I never
empty.
thought about that one as how the relationship that it is important. I mean, it's important that your kids see a united front on a regular basis, and they know how relationships are supposed to be, and how they're supposed to go. Yeah, it makes sense.
And, so I just real last thought on
Yeah.
that. It's not only are you you're battling the front lines as being a father, and I assume it's what it will be, but also as being a good husband. So I think that's another thing I hear from other fathers too is your focus can't just be on work, can't just be on kids, can't be just on your marriage. It really does have to be as best as you can. Have to tackle all 3 fronts.
It's exhausting.
And the dog, don't forget the dog. I got to focus on the dog.
Oh, your dog is a
exactly.
freaking handful.
I
for
took
cats.
I took a glance at your Instagram, and it's like your dog is in for a world of hurt, man.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
In
'cause
terms of
your
attention.
dog, your dog looks really loved, and I hope he's in for.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know if
she-
it's
ready to play.
she's.
Oh, I'm sorry, she.
Oh, she's. Oh, yeah.
She looks
she's
like a
gonna-
he.
She's gonna struggle.
She's gonna. Well, I mean,
You're
Brian,
super masculine dog.
But see, if there's any indication of how good of a dad Brian's gonna be, how they treat the dog now. I mean, would you go on like 6-mile runs with the dog just to tire her out?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
really,
who the fucking runs 6 miles?
just
Right?
to be able to like
Do you-
have
we-
a calm night.
You guys could bring me back on and have an entire podcast about being a pet father,
Oh yeah.
and I will tell you about the last
Idea.
4 years. Like
Are you a pet?
Oh, yeah?
Are you a pet
Dog?
father?
my dog has had double ACL replacement.
Oh my.
Jesus Christ.
Swear to God,
Double ACLs?
double TPLO.
How much was that? Just ballpark. You can
just
round
the
it.
number. I'll give you the
Too
number.
many.
Give
I'll
it-
give you the number.
810?
$6,000.
I'll punch someone in the face right now. That's ridiculous.
I started talking to people.
I don't know if I
and
love
so
my kids that much.
Wes,
dude. I'm kidding.
Wes,
I do.
Wes has 2 dogs that he adopted, right? That he got off Wes Stevenson.
Yeah.
That he got off of Craigslist, and one was like a lady in El Centro that passed away. And when they found the lady was like at a trailer park, and they found out like she was passed away. She had this dog, and that was Gus. So they brought Gus home, did a nice thing, and then it was like, well, no dog wants to be alone, so they went and got Abby. So he said he took Gus and Abby for a run in the morning. When they got back, Abby had a limp, right? And he was like, and the wife said, you got to take her to the vet. And he said, she's going to get some Tylenol, and she better stop limping real quick, or she's going to go to Fiesta Island and never come back.
Or she's
there's
gonna,
yeah.
the $50 option.
Because they went to the vet, and the vet started running some numbers, and he was like, yeah, no, we're good. I wouldn't spend that much money on my own knees. So,
the vets. It's going to be, I hate when they give you a range. It's going to be between 300 and 8,000. I'm not giving you a blank check to spend 8,000
My brother-
bucks. I'm sorry.
the-
I'm sorry.
my-
I love my dog and my cat.
my brother's first dog that they got. So him and his ex-wife bought a house, right? The carpet guys came in. The carpet guys were like some neighborhood guys, and they said, "Hey, we got a litter of pit bull puppies. Would you guys want a puppy? Because you gave us all this money for putting your carpet in, we'll give you a free puppy." The wife said, "Sure, we need a puppy."
We'll give you a puppy
What was
with
the
your carpet.
markup in that carpet, man?
So my brother,
You get a free puppy.
my brother. No, I'm not kidding. They didn't have any kids. My brother fell in love with this dog. Buster was a member of the family,
Of course,
right?
because
Yeah.
it's a puppy.
So, but my
Everyone
brother was
wants
out of town working, and turns out he had cancer, and the tumor had like ruptured his spleen. So my mom and my sister are watching the dog. He's literally swelling up as overnight. They take him to the vet, and the vet says, "There's no. All we can do is make him comfortable." And my brother called the vet from Sacramento or wherever he was at for training and said, "How much just to do the surgery?" And the guy gave him a number, and he was like, "I don't know what the number was," and he was like, "Yeah, just make him comfortable. Like, I love him, but just make him comfortable." So my brother, he tells me after it's all said and done, he goes, "Man, you got to, like," because he knows how much me and Jamie love Jack, and he's like, "You got to come up with a number." So I'm trying to have the conversation with my wife, we got to come up with a number for Jack. And she said, "I will rob a bank with no mask and 2 automatic weapons." And I'm like, "Okay, there is no number. Note to self, there is no number."
There's gonna be a number, my friend. There's got to be.
I mean, I killed a hamster
I killed it
and some beta fish.
on purpose.
Oh, we're on like Frank the Fourth with beta
totally.
fish. So
Yeah,
beta
I
fish don't last in our house.
Hey,
I
Tim
don't have the
Rico-
patience for
Sorry.
Timmy
I mean,
Rico. Frank Salgado said Tim Rico is one of my favorite humans.
Favorite human.
Yeah, dude,
Wow.
and he's a scary individual.
Frank is one of the nicest
He
guys. What are
is.
you talking about?
I'm
but
gonna
he
fight
just,
him.
That happens. But Tim, what are you gonna leave? Tim, what are you gonna leave behind from your dad? Obviously, he was an awesome, hardworking gentleman who cursed at you when you cried. What are you gonna leave behind?
That I was thinking about that. I don't know.
That's why I'm like, hey, Brian gets the first question.
I didn't get any kind of warm up on this.
No,
How
you
come I
just
didn't get
we're
the-
just
the-
chatting, man.
and
Like, hey,
you have
think
time
about
for
it.
a rebuttal.
Yeah, if you
yeah,
want to
and-
come back, you
and-
don't get a
it's okay.
one timer.
And I don't know. I mean, my dad was like, I felt like my dad pushed education on me, and I'm not saying my dad wasn't educated, but he didn't go to school either. So it was like, why are you busting my balls? Like, you didn't go to college, Like I would tell myself, young dumb me would be like, well, you didn't go to college.
That's why I went to college and graduated a month ago.
Yeah. So
A month
so
ago.
when I congratulations.
Cheers.
Yeah. Salute.
It
lot of-
only took
A
17
lot
years.
of people go to college for
because
17
My
years.
dad told me my senior year at Saints, there wasn't like any 4-year offers coming across my table. The coach from City came by one of the Saints games, my baseball game, and said, "Hey, I'm a brand new coach. I'd love to come, come by the program, whatever." The coach from Southwestern, so I went on, and I said, "Okay, no." And then I got a travel ball coach who said, "You should come up to LA, a lot more exposure." So I went to LA. My dad said, before I left for LA, he said, "If you are enrolled in school and you're a full-time student, I will financially support you in whatever. I don't care if it takes you 12 years to get through school. But as long as you're enrolled full-time and you're doing your thing and you're getting good grades, I will support you." Okay.
Cool.
By the time I dropped out and left Iowa and came home, the first weekend, the first Friday night, my buddy was on my way to pick me up, and I looked at him and said, "Can I get $40?" And he said, "For what?" And I said, "I'm going out with my friends." And he said, "Are you in school?"
Oh, damn.
And I said, "No, I dropped out." And he goes, "Then I don't have anything for you."
Fucking awesome.
He said, "I have an application for you on Monday at the shop if you want to come by, and I'll see if I can get you minimum wage to sweep up the floors." And I
That's-
was like,
Jesus.
so that's the kind of stuff I'll carry with me to my son, like that. Like, I mean, you talk
Responsibility.
about
Super.
sticking by your word, like
Hero
it was like,
right there.
So like I was like, shit, So my buddy picks me up. I get in the car and he's like, "What's up, man? What are we doing?" I said, "Something cheap because I don't have any money,
I got no
and
damn
then
money.
and I got to work Monday, so let's make this short." So.
What about the whole spanking your kids? Because I'm guessing you were spanked.
Wooden spoon?
Wooden spoon.
I think it's dipped in bronze and hanging over my mom's mantle right now.
It didn't
It's-
break. Oh,
no.
you wuss.
that might be number
Jesus.
4 or
Or might be
5.
number
My
4.
sister had her hands on it. Like,
Brian, what do you think? Were you spanked
Was I spanked? Yeah.
by your mom or your dad?
Yes.
Both.
Actually, both. Yeah.
Really? Oh, good for you.
But it was not not a lot.
It wasn't a lot.
I really had to get. You set that number. If I went over that number, that's when it happened.
You really had to. You didn't say go fuck yourself to your mom.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
my mom for the longest time was a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
So the threat was, "Do I need to call your father at work?" And it was.
That's such a
No.
bullshit.
Well,
You don't like
said-
that one?
yeah.
You don't like that
No,
one?
well,
Because
go ahead.
I
go
am
ahead.
the goddamn villain all the time. The kids act out. They go to the moms like every other weekend, or it's been like every weekend for a little while now.
Right.
But they act up, and like she calls me. She's like, the kids are acting up. What are you gonna do about it? I was like, I'm gonna keep drinking. Shut up and do your job. Like, what do you want me to? I don't say that because she's terrified, but that's how I feel.
Yeah.
My
I like how
ex-wife-
the initials like, oh,
No,
I'm so.
My
awesome.
ex-wife scares the shit out of me.
earmuffs.
No
Earmuffs.
way.
But you said something a while ago, maybe like 4 or 5 podcasts ago, was that if you can, if that's your go-to is like I'm gonna call your father, your kids don't
Well,
respect.
it's
the
why
person.
he told her to go
Yeah.
quote go fuck herself. I'm not putting $1 in.
No, it's quote.
And,
Yeah.
and he said it to me. He's like, why would I care? He's like, every time I'm bad, she just calls you anyway.
Yeah.
So what's the point? And I was like, oh, that's not good.
You're like,
I-
well,
I, was like, I don't want
I-
to have those reasoning.
And there was one time where my mom didn't have to call my dad. It was my sophomore year at Saints, and report cards got sent home in the mail. And my dad never came home early for work. Like, he would lose a digit and be like, okay, some duct tape and super glue, and let's just keep rolling. And I get dropped off, and I'm coming. We lived over by State, and I lived on Campanile, so I'm coming out. I get dropped off. I'm walking up, and I see my dad's work truck parked in the driveway.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, I think Dad's dead. Like they but God,
That's where
but God bless the company for dropping his work truck.
That's the initial reaction.
Yeah. Like, man, something's like, somebody's sick, something's going on. And I open the front door, and he's standing there, and he's got a torn up envelope, empty, on the floor, and he's got a piece of paper in his hand. And I drop my book bag, and I look, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, he looks up, and he's like, do you know how much money I spend for you to go to this school? And I was like, I have no clue. 2 years at St. Vincent's, and now a year and a half almost at Saints. I have no idea. Nobody's ever talked about money.
You don't know what money is.
I don't know. He had to work overtime. I don't know any of that stuff.
You know what
right?
money is, right?
And I think I got a C in something, like something dumb. I don't even remember what the class was. Something super, And he's like,
Sir, in Sir's class?
he's probably. And he's like, well, no, sophomore, so whatever.
Mr. Adams.
And he was like, a C? He's like, I spend all this hard-earned money, and you come home with a C? And I was like, hard-earned money? Like, what? In my head, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
In my mind.
And he put hands on me. He struck me. I could, for lack of a better term, he struck me. Like, not with a wooden spoon, not like,
Because you were a man at that point.
like you're
That's
drunk,
what I'm up against right now.
I'm lifting weights, and I'm playing football, and you
I'm
think it's tough,
gangster.
right? Yeah. And I'm like, I step back, and I'm like, wow, like and I'm like,
I'm like,
well, I got it. How much do you spend? And he goes, I spend $5,000 a year for you to go to this school. And I was like, $5,000. Oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted to call all my friends and be like, your parents spent $5,000? Like, where do you even get $5,000? As a sophomore high
that's
school.
an impossible
That's
number.
an impossible number. That
Yeah.
number doesn't exist to me, And he's
Yeah.
like, and he told me, and the last thing he ended it with, do you know what me and your mother could do with $5,000 a year?
A lot.
And I was
I don't
like,
want that answer.
right?
Yeah.
I was like, yep. I picked up my book bag, went in my room, and slammed the door. And I read every single book, front to back, up to, and I was like, okay, like, let's get down to business.
Now we
like,
know. See,
yeah.
not everyone's gonna do that. So you got spanked wooden spoon. Are you guys gonna spank your kids? Have you talked about that? Is that
Yes.
Was
Yes.
your wife spanked?
Was my wife spanked?
Yeah. No-
absolutely.
okay.
In
And
public,
was Grace?
like, in private, like,
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. In
public
private,
fun.
at home or in public, it didn't matter. Like if you warranted a spanking, it was gonna happen.
Yeah, no, Grace definitely got the spanking, got a
spanking.
couple slaps here and there.
So have you guys discussed it? Like, that's on the table.
It's on the table.
Really?
Yes.
Let me throw out some information.
Okay.
If you say no, you're going to reevaluate that stance at some point. You
Ex-
might
right?
still
Yeah,
you might still say no, but you're going to reevaluate your stance at some point.
I'm gonna say, and I don't have kids, but I'm gonna say every man/woman has a breaking point.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's
right.
there as well.
And if that for lack of a better term, if that means violence against a younger human, that's, exactly. Okay, but and because I see those kids at Costco, at Target, out in public, and it's like, man, this kid nobody's ever put hands on this kid.
Yeah, you can tell.
And-
You can definitely tell. There's
Right.
no fear. There's no fear.
There's
if you can
also-
count to 3, you can count to 30. You can threaten.
There has to be
they-
follow
I
through.
heard a lady at Target the other day, and it was the one over off in La Mesa by Grossmont.
Right here, bro. Right here.
Yeah, right here. And there's the escalator. There's up,
Yeah.
and they're coming up the escalator, and this kid is so fired up to get to the top of the escalator, right? Like he just like you can see it as soon as he's coming up the crown, like he's just like,
Because he's gonna jump over it.
I'm gonna jump so far,
Because
like,
the toys are up there.
yeah, yeah. So and mom did her thing downstairs, and now it's his time, right? And he gets to that from 4 feet away, and he like Carl Lewis just and he lands with both feet, and the mom is like 6 feet behind him, and I hear, Braxton, control your actions.
Oh fuck that.
And I was like, that's all. And he was cool after that. He just kind of got in line and started walking away. But I was like, if
That kid's been beaten.
and that's what I was like, man.
No.
I was thinking like, man, I bet that dad has put hands on that kid.
Yeah.
That's his triggered term.
So okay, so that man, see, I went the other route.
Control
Braxton.
your actions.
He was
And it
a
kind of
wa-
rhymed. It was
Yeah.
weird.
Braxton.
It was
See,
weird.
I went the other route though. See, I went because I was spanked a lot by my dad, and that was one of the things I said that I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna.
You said that? You really said that?
Yeah, 100%. Said I'm not gonna spank my kids, and Amanda was on the same like, hey, look, that's not what we're gonna do.
How'd
And
that
I
go?
totally agreed with it and was on board with it. And so far, there's been the breaking point. There has been there was the breaking
Every
point.
man.
No, there was the breaking point where Jameson, my son, because he was the only one that I actually thought about spanking. I'm gonna have to do this, but it came from a different place though. That's the only problem is that Jameson was he had a hitting problem where he would just ball up a fist and hit someone for no reason, and he would act out in aggression, and so we did the go to your room, sorry for what you've done, all that crap that the books say, all that crap. And so we tried that, and it wasn't working. He would go to his room and he'd come out and be like, hey, why did I send you to your room? All that crap, right? It's just crap. And he would do his little thing and he'd smile and he's good looking and he'd be like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm like, you're probably sorry. But he wasn't. And so it was a point where he just, I was putting the kids in the car and he just, for no fucking reason, just went over and hit his sister, punched her like right in the face. And he like turned back to me and I was right there. He had no qualms about it whatsoever. I was like, are you serious? Like this just happened right in front of me. And so it was at that moment where I thought about it. I was like, all right, what we're doing is not working.
Right.
Our parenting style is not working. So I think that I'm going to have to spank him. It was a conscious, no, I'm not mad. I don't want to do it. It's not going to make me feel better, as someone put it. You just want to do it because it's going to make you feel better. I thought, I was like, look, it's not working. He needs to be hurt so that he doesn't do it again. And in this case, I feel like, all right, in this case, the end justifies the means. If he doesn't punch anybody else and I have to spank him 2 or 3 times, okay. But that's where I came from, is the end justifies the means. But I still don't want to spank my kids. I still haven't.
Yeah.
I still haven't.
Yeah, I didn't come
Kudos.
from there.
Still haven't.
Kudos.
But I get close.
And going back, now if I was having a girl, if I was having a baby girl, I'd never put hands on her. But I would threaten, I'd say your mom is going to.
Fuck your shit up. It's okay for her to spank though?
My daughter's been spanked.
Would it be okay for you would never spank your daughter, but is it okay for
my
your
wife
wife
to
to spank her?
Oh
All
yeah.
day. Okay, so
I'd be in the back like, like,
get it. Get it. Brian, would that change? If you were having a girl, what'd you say?
No, it's on the table.
Would
It's
you,
just- it's always on the
would
table.
you spank your daughter?
Yeah, if it really came down to it, yeah, I would.
All right,
I don't
all
think
right.
it's really.
I don't remember
Gender
if I have.
equality.
Yeah,
Gender
no,
equality.
exactly. I really, what it really is.
2018,
It's,
gender equality.
What's wrong with you?
Well, hold on. I wanted to just. I'll get to me.
All right.
I have to pace myself, otherwise
Wow.
I'm 9 drinks deep. I just have to
I'm
drive.
like, I'm scared as to what you're saying.
Hey, I told my wife I'll split a lift with AJ. If
See,
it gets crazy.
Frank
I'll
asked.
give you a ride.
Frank asked, "What about the arm squeeze?" And I'm like, I'm a huge fan of the arm squeeze.
like behind the arm.
Behind the arm,
Ooh,
And I feel that's
ooh.
worse.
especially
Worse?
No, it's
If you
not.
ever, I'd much rather be hit than
I-
pinch or squeeze.
Well, that's like, I bruise easy. Like,
Yeah.
you know. Like,
I'm a peach.
yeah.
Jameson will get the shoulder
Ooh.
grab, and I'll whisper in his ear, "If you do this again, we're gonna have a freaking problem." What did I say? If I do it again, we're gonna have problem. Yes. So the squeeze is a non-lethal.
I don't know what Melina was saying in Spanish, but it worked.
Yeah.
It's much scarier in Spanish. If you haven't heard it, you should try Spanish. Look up some words and figure it out. Because she
Speaking
would
of
say
Spanish.
something in my kid's ear in Spanish, and he'd pee and poo himself, and he'd just behave all of a sudden. He was 14, but it was just one of those things that like she could scare the bejesus
Really?
out of a kid. Oh God, she was terrifying.
Well, she
Still
scares
is.
you.
If you heard me, she scares the shit out of me.
Well, I was gonna say that's like speaking in
It's the
tongues, like especially if a kid doesn't know it, you're like,
terrible.
But it's the fear aspect. There has to be. You have to be able. I mean, you might have to go beyond the Mike Mogger stare, or the Mike Mogger stern voice.
I feel like there needs to be something behind the stare.
that's his move, a stare.
He
Yeah.
gives the stare and he gives
He
the
keeps
stern
bringing
voice.
this up. I don't remember.
But he's also like 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
he's
He's a large individual, so that's
imposing.
that's a lot
9'6".
different
Yeah,
than
he's
like
many of me.
and to go on your point, the guy the kid who was just jumping, I saw probably an 8-year-old, 9-year-old. In I think it was in let's be honest, it was in Walmart, and dude just told his mom,
should have gone to Target.
"Mom, why are you being such a bitch?"
Oh,
to
little,
her face,
little kid.
right to her face. And I was walking by and I heard it and I was like, this kid's gonna get fucking ass
He's
kicked.
dead.
Because that's when our generation,
Oh,
you
that-
would not dream.
No, that kid would
I
be in
don't-
concussion
Ooh.
protocol.
Yeah, that is.
He'd
back
be
of
in
the
concussion
arm,
protocol
that's-
for sure.
Like, would you ever dream
No
about?
way.
Would you ever dream about talking to your mom that way?
No.
Even
No,
now,
no,
like
no,
tomorrow.
no. That's like leave the cart there, grab behind the arm, and they're like out.
You're-
You are being stormed out.
one of the worst things that ever happened to me was I got old enough and my mom grabbed the spoon, and she went to swing, and I just happened to turn around and I got her right on the wrist, right? So I grabbed, like mid swing, I grabbed the wrist, and then I kind of giggled,
Like it
Yeah.
tickles.
like
Like it
this
tickles
ain't
for
working
you.
no more, and it was like, oh shit, it's like you have that like oh shit moment, and I was like, now Dad's got to get involved. Now, now we're gonna fight. Now
Yeah.
there's gonna be it's not gonna be a fight. Like I'm just gonna get my ass beat.
killed.
Now I'm really gonna get
There was a moment when my mom realized she had to resort towards spanking because she used to try to do like the soap in the mouth thing. You talk
yeah.
back and try to put soap. And I remember this one time she grabbed me behind the arm like usual, grabbed me into the bathroom, but there was no bar of soap. She'd panic. She's like, "What do I do?" So she tries to yes, exactly.
Squirt
She
it
like
in
does
her?
like the yes. She tried to get like the squirt soap, trying to get it in her hand
put
and
it
try
in
to
your-
like
put it in your mouth.
force it into your mouth, and you've got like a
Just
sealed
like-
lips.
And you're like, what are you doing, mom?
Yeah, exactly. At that moment, and then from then on, it was.
Did she spank you? Did she spank you worse than your dad did though?
No. No.
Yeah, man.
Actually, I don't have very many memories of
the spanking.
Of the spanking, really.
You're like
yeah.
one or
I really did like block that out. It's
You blocked it out.
I really don't. I actually think it happened all that often, but I think I did get the bar of the soap much more than
Much
I did
more.
Get the,
my worst night. I used to get locked in my room. So there was like a
Oh,
little
On
they
the outside?
switched the
there was
locks?
there was a little
That's
eye, there was a
genius.
little eye screw with like the little latch thing, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we had these like weird. We lived in this old house in North Park, and these little slider doors. I had a real door on one side that went down the hallway to the bathroom in their room, and then I had this little slider door that went to the kitchen. And so they could just shut the one door, and then they could do the little eyelet thing. And I had to be in there for 25 minutes.
Oh my
Oh.
god!
It's a
It's
lifetime.
an eternity.
Forever, like there was no like.
And we
it
didn't
was-
have, like,
I was
iPhones,
oh,
you know,
there was
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
and it was like if I hear that TV or that Nintendo turn on, I swear to God, and it was
Yeah.
like yes, ma'am, and I would just get in my bed and sit like Indian style on my, or excuse me,
Yeah.
crisscross applesauce on my bed.
Crisscross applesauce. That's good. They
Hey,
still,
there's a disclaimer, man. Like,
they still use that, bro. It's
What?
crisscross applesauce.
oh, my
Yeah.
wife,
Oh, they
yeah, my
still
wife
use
used to
the
work
shit
with
out.
like special needs kids. Like,
Man, so it's just what is one, because Brian talked about earlier is like what's one thing, because just introduce this, there's a dad fiction book coming out and in a while, but we basically asked a bunch of dads that have been dads for at least a year, and one of the things was like what is your biggest fear, what do you know now that you wish you knew then, kind of stuff, and what was your biggest regret, and what would you differ? It's just 4 points, like you said, I can read all this stuff in one page, whatever. That's it. It's a one pager
Right.
for new dads of different generations, but you get
But there's more than one page.
3
That's what I'm
generations. It's 110 pages.
4 pages.
110.
Just making numbers up.
No, it is. It's 110. So
Plus the
it
index.
was.
Table of
What
contents.
is your biggest regret? And most of it was the taking the time off.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was 50 different men, dads from age 20 to 40. What was their biggest regret? And the synopsis, the summary of it was that was their biggest regret.
Not
is
taking time off.
Not taking the time off. I tell you firsthand that I think Sterling, I took, and Amanda will chime in here, I probably took 5 days off. And for Jameson, I probably took 3 or 4 days off. And I work from home now. And when Violet was here, I work from home, so I have a very open schedule. But I only took probably 2 or 3 days off. And it was a consistent theme among dads that I asked is, I wish that I would have taken more time off. He had 4 months.
Awesome.
Awesome. I would say
Maybe the best 4 months of my life.
if you could hear 40 or 50 other dads give you advice of different generations, take some time off. The first 3 weeks you're gonna feel like, why the fuck am I taking time off? Why? I mean, kid eats and sleeps, and I don't do anything. I'm sitting here. I could just be at work. Dial me in later. But Brian said it. You're hitting just milestones, the smiles, the holding, the singing, preferably Bohemian Rhapsody, is a really good lullaby.
Only if you're coming over to sing it.
Don't threaten me with a good time, Timmy Rico. But
We're coming out with a Dad Fiction CD later. It's just it's duets
just
by
Ryan
Ryan
and
and me.
Yeah,
It's
can't you guys
just-
just go do karaoke somewhere? Like,
We have.
It's really good.
where?
What's that place called? The Betty's or whatever it's called.
Carriage House?
I don't know. Oh, no, it's not there anymore.
Norma
Norma Jeans is
Norma
not there
Jeans.
anymore.
That was where we used to go.
Norma Jeans. But that was the theme of dads after a year was take the time off. That's the one thing that they regretted after 1 year of being dads is take the time off if you can. You're always going to be busy, Brian. I mean, you're always going to be busy.
Work is work.
Work is
Work is
always
work.
going to
Life
be
is
there.
life.
If you can
Yeah.
take it off. And now, luckily, fucking companies are doing this paternity leave thing, which is awesome.
Don't mock it.
So I got a question
It's
for you.
awesome.
Actually, would you still recommend taking time off right when the baby's born, or would you take, let's say
No.
after a month, then take 6 weeks, or take a month off?
That's a good question. I've had the best way I've seen it done, and I wasn't smart enough to do it. Was a dude in my office luckily had the paternity leave, but he would work for a week, take 2 weeks off. Work for a week, take 2 weeks off.
Huh.
Work for a week, take 2 weeks off.
That's-
He would come back and answer and do important things, and then done 2 weeks.
So you did like
that's-
a FMLA for
Yeah. that's what he did.
That's more or less my plan is
Huh.
to put in for FMLA and then do.
You work for the
we-
state.
or you just don't get paid, bro,
You work for the state.
Okay.
or you don't lose your job.
You
Um,
work for the state of California.
Yes, I do. So
Yeah.
the plan is to do week paid, week off, week paid, week off, week paid. That's the plan for as
Yeah.
long as I can do that.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, even like when I'm home, I have a phone and I have a laptop. So as
Don't-
long as I have an internet,
Yeah.
as long
Do
as
you
I have a-
unplug, or
Huh?
you think you're gonna quasi unplug like you?
It's a good
think?
question, Brian.
No, I won't.
Unplug, dude.
I won't.
He won't.
Unplug it, man.
Well, no. Well, it depends because I'm in a transition period right now. So I'm in my current job. There will be an opening that I'm like chomping at the bit. There's a guy retiring, and I kind of want his job.
Ooh, all right.
So they've been waiting.
Is-
Long story short,
Is he also redheaded?
No, he is not. He
Oh.
is a silver fox with a ponytail and a
Oh.
monster goatee.
Yes, but is he bald? And
No.
they-
No.
Good
He's-
for
he's-
him.
Oh yeah. Oh no. He's all yeah.
Good
He's
for
all
him.
Don't ever say good for a guy with a ponytail. Sorry, ever.
God, I
Just
hope
because he
he,
can.
God, I hope he doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, don't be mad 'cause he can, bro.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal had ponytails.
When did he have a?
Hard target?
Oh God.
Did
he had a
really?
more
Did he
of a
really?
mullet.
He had a
He had
mullet.
a
He had a
mullet. It was
mullet.
actually not
That's
even a
not-
mullet. It was more of a mullet, honestly, because it was like
Mullet.
It was,
It was like
just
the-
curly.
like bottom.
It's curly.
no. It was kind of like the curly,
Yeah, it was
like
curly.
hairsprayed kind of look. Yeah.
Idiot.
Anyway,
target.
Steven Seagal had it.
Yeah, he did, and he runs like an idiot too.
I mean, one's like a girl.
why does he have to run?
He runs.
Don't ask me why he's running,
It's
but
the
he's
slow mo.
running.
It's the slow mo while buildings
Oh,
exploding.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Rambo had a long hair too, and he could have ponytailed. it.
Again, didn't ponytail, but
He
did.
didn't though. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of
But-
people could have, but didn't.
Long story short,
But I'm in a position now. My current job, where I could quasi not have to unplug and still be present. But if I transfer to this thing, it's either I'm all in or all out. So I'll have a supervisor that's going to say, "What's your deal? Are you here or are you not?" Because I want and my current supervisor's like, "Look, it's up to you. So you figure it out." So that's kind of like a dilemma. I've got, and I ask guys at work. I ask guys at work with kids that with kids, no kids. A guy with no kids is like, man, you got it made, bro. You can't like do and then the other guys
Work,
with kids,
work, work.
Yeah, and the other guys with kids are like, do whatever, whatever. Like we'll cover you, it's no big, so it's like
The worst thing, like the best thing I ever did was when my ex-wife and I got divorced. I was still working in mortgage, and she basically said, if you ever want to see your kids again, you need a 9-to-5 job, because I was working crazy hours.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, and
Do you remember that
when
time
we had jury duty? Yeah,
my man,
yeah,
my
Did you
man.
end up having jury duty together?
yeah. Randomly, just ran
man.
into each other.
super rando.
Did you get on a jury together?
No,
No.
neither one of us got called. We just kind of bullshitted
just
all
all-
day.
You think they would have called us? We were in the back chopping it up, and they were like, "These
Yeah.
two
Like,
assholes,
we're
These guys.
never-
these two assholes, fuck
No.
these guys." Yeah.
Yeah,
Next.
and so she basically, I'm really glad she did it, because I ended up leaving my job. I was making boatloads of money at the time to be like someone's bitch, essentially,
Right.
and making less than a third of what I was making. But I had a very set, like 40-hour-a-week schedule, and I had to completely downsize and rechange, and I lost a house to foreclosure. I declared bankruptcy. I did all these things to make sure I could live, because I couldn't
On that.
Like it was
Yeah,
awful.
you
It
had
was
to, like-
miserable, and I still. But I mean,
But you don't regret it.
I don't, and it's really funny that you mentioned like
But you were present and you were there for your
and
kid.
my son today. I'm not even making this up. Literally today said, "I'm really glad that you were around as much as you were because we have such a great relationship now, and again, my ex-wife's done a million great things for my kids. I never want to badmouth her, especially on here, but." He's like, Mom wasn't big onto school, and he struggled really bad with school. He was young. He's like, and you were the one who kind of, I didn't like it a lot when I was a kid. He's like, but you kind of focused on my school, and you helped me with this and that. And he's like, and now I finally, because he finally realizes what it is. He's like, I'm really glad you were there to yell at me all those times and kind of beat me into shape or whatever, because now it makes sense. And he's like, and I don't know that would have been a thing. And we just had this conversation today, this afternoon when I was driving home from school. And it was one of those things. Was like, I didn't even think about it.
And
It was like your
did
mom.
you cry? Like
I was
did
gonna
you
say, it's getting a little misty,
single
man.
single tear.
No, I didn't. But
You
it
should have. I'm a little
Drop.
misty.
But it was one of those things. It was like it felt really good. It was one of those things because at the time she had basically said, I'm going to take your kids from you because you're never around, and she was right. Like she probably had them 80% of the time now,
Right.
like I do now. She had them all the time. I just worked and worked and worked, and I was just a money machine.
Right.
It was like I was so bad with my money, and I just incurred so much debt. I had to make a crap load of it just to breathe.
Yeah.
And so I just felt this overwhelming self-inflicted pressure to do that. And so when she kind of gave me the ultimatum, I was like, all right. And it was awesome. It worked out great. So the point I'm making, the reason I tell that story is like, if you can find the flexibility, like I make a good living now, but I could make way more if I went back into
Of
sales.
course.
Yeah, but you give up that quality of life that you've strived for.
I mean, I'm very, very blessed to have a ton of flexibility at my job. Like today I left a little early so I could pick the kids up because it needed to happen.
To add to that, when I told you I left, I was at Caltrans for a long time,
Yeah,
and I
right.
left. And I went to this private company, and they kind of I was on a Caltrans job, and they recruited me and whatever. So, I work for the state, and whatever. Anyway, long story short, so I'm working for the private company, and I met my girlfriend at the time, now wife, in the process. We're living together, and we move in, and she's not, for lack of a better term, she's a chicken shit. She's scared of the dark, So I'm traveling and I'm working, and she's not cool with me being away all the time,
Yeah.
But I'm making a boatload of money, So on Fridays, it's all good, right? Because I got all this money, but Monday, or Sunday night.
Monday through Friday. Yeah.
Sunday night, I get up and leave, and then I'm not back till Friday. And then I came home one weekend, and she looked at me and she was like, "Is it going to be like this forever?" And I was
Right.
like, "I never thought about it, And I was like, "Well, yeah, if we like,
If you want this lifestyle,
yeah, if we like having all these nice things and going on these
You want
trips
to
and
be
doing,
glittered in gold.
and then that really struck a nerve, and I was like, man, I am not present, I'm not, and thinking exponentially about man, if I have kids, she's going to be basically a single parent Monday through Friday, and then I'm going to be there on the weekends for baseball games and parties,
for the
that's
cool
but-
shit.
yeah, for the cool stuff, and then she's there Monday, she's there grinding 5 days a week, working and doing, that's not fair. So would I rather be rich and miserable or living comfortably, and ecstatically happy and in doing exactly what I want to do, and that's the terms I had to
The
come
mix.
with. So
You gotta have the
yeah,
mix.
the mix, and it's it's the mix, it is what it is. So
Are you gonna take time off, Brian? What do you think?
yeah, no, definitely. I even don't think it's an option. Talking
Yeah.
with Grace.
With Grace, it's
I'm
just
actually
like,
even getting text messages right now. She's like, "You hear that? 9 to 5."
Did you hear that? Oh, she's texting
Yeah,
you right now.
yeah.
Tell her she should be watching right now.
She
Can you-
is, she is.
Oh,
She's-
she should let
What-
everyone else
what,
know.
Brian, what do you do?
I work for a biotechnology company
Oh,
based
okay.
they're based out of LA, but we have a San
Smart
Diego
people.
office.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
we do
master's
stem
degree.
cell research. Is,
Oh,
what
sure,
we
okay.
do.
Wicked
So-
smart. A wicked smart
Wicked
individual.
smart.
Wicked smart.
But it is too many hours. Too many hours. in the day.
You're gonna step outside. So we'll take this segue of AJ leaving to get into his favorite subject of shitty people. Don't kick the camera on your way out, boss man. Yeah, is Grace watching?
I think she is. Yeah.
And she said she was texting you like, yeah, you need to shut it down and take 8 months off. So is that- is that
Yeah,
what's
I
up?
think she was shut it down after 8 hours in a day. And
Do you work past 8 hours?
Oh yeah, man. Sometimes it's
Do they
up
pay you
till
for that?
midnight, up till
Do they
1
pay you for
a.m.
extra?
No,
You're
it's just
salaried up, man. Just
you know?
it'll be there
It's-
tomorrow.
It's yeah.
But Grace said, I'm keeping my eye on him. Don't worry. God bless her heart.
It's just this
Absolutely.
this
Not great.
overwatching. Yeah.
Judging, watching. Look at the baby. Look at the baby.
Yeah.
Man. So let's transition because I think Tim Rigo's taking all the ice. It's cool. No big deal. No, I don't. I don't need any. So let's transition to shitty people. Let's get the air off the chest and let's talk about shitty people. And this segment is brought to you by AJ Calabrese because he's just living life around shitty people all the time. And it's really just it's just that shitty people, or to put a positive spin on it, who we don't want our kids to turn into. All right, so like I don't want my daughter or my son to be that kid who's always on his phone, or
Or a CrossFitter.
a CrossFitter, whatever you may.
Is that for real?
Is that real? A CrossFitter?
Is that for real? CrossFitter?
No, that is not a real shitty
Vegans and
person.
CrossFit?
Vegans,
do you know?
vegans, hipsters, CrossFitters.
I didn't eat meat for 3 years, and it was the best I've ever felt.
Dude, I did it for
Oh,
like 6
God.
months.
And you went
Man.
back
I
to
had
it.
gout.
I have a pregnant wife,
Who wants meat?
complete carnivore.
You stopped eating. Well, good for her.
What,
Was
going
it,
back to
did
meat?
you lose
or-
a bet, or are you
Good for
mad
all
at
of you.
yourself? Or
Okay, so real quickly, she said she had a couple bottles of wine, and like on a Friday, I fell asleep super early. She got into bed and she got on YouTube and she watched all those nasty videos that that the like PETA and those people put out. Woke up Saturday morning and said, "I'm done." I said, "Excuse me, I just woke up. What do you mean?" And she said, "I'm done eating meat." And I said, "Okay."
I'm still gonna do it.
Yeah, I said, "Okay, well, good luck with that." So Monday came home from work, and I said, "So what's for dinner?" So she said, "Well, I didn't think that far ahead." And I said, "Okay." So I said, "Here's the deal." I said, "I'll give you 2 weeks. I will support you for 2 weeks. I will go completely meat-free for 2 weeks, and after that, I will enjoy the entire tri-tip to myself, and you can have your salad or whatever, pasta, whatever you're doing."
Your vegetables,
you know.
yes.
And so I'm not kidding. 2 weeks turned into like 2 years.
And so why did you go back
meat
to it?
free until the end of July.
My wife got pregnant.
And she was just like, I want.
We went over to her aunt's house for dinner one
We're
night.
like, let's just throw spinach at her and she'll be fine.
Yeah, no, we went to her aunt's house for dinner, and her aunt was making like scratch Italian food, and
Fucking delicious.
yeah, and she baked chicken, and the baked chicken was shredded in a separate bowl because she knew we were coming over,
Hungry.
and it was like the wafting, and her cousin took a fork full of chicken and like and was like, "I see you staring at it. You might as well just take a bite." And she looked at me, and I said, "You're eating for 2."
It's your.
I said, "That bowl is for you. If
Your
you want
body,
it.
your choice."
Nobody's gonna say anything." And she dominated.
She
about
had
16
one bite. And
about
then
16 bites of chicken.
she had one bite. She orgasmed and that was it.
Yeah.
And, then
And I was
she's
like, "Are we back on the meat wagon?" And she was like, "Oh, we're officially back on the meat wagon."
Yeah,
I was
you're
like,
like,
"Yes."
okay.
I am
And it took
literally
chicken to do that.
meat free till the end of July.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Good for you.
all right.
Are
So
you hurting, or are you
I
all
mean,
right?
I'm fine. Like the thing is, I take in like 200 grams of meat protein a day. Like my body doesn't. My kidneys are like, "What are you doing?"
shitty people.
Ow!
So, yes.
Shitty people, vegans, and other people.
They're not shitty people.
No.
But they tell you
The-
they're
the-
shitty people
the-
because they tell
The
you that
militant,
they're.
militant
Yes.
vegans
The
and plant-based people
pontificating types.
are the worst.
The radical anyways.
All right. Well, let's not jump Tim Rico's
Sorry.
shitty people.
I missed it. I was
Tim
peeing.
Rico, give me a shitty person in your life. Don't name them, but just
Oh, like a person,
Or
like,
do.
like AJ Calabrese is a shitty person. No, just the type of person that does this.
people with no manners.
Wow. Okay. Example though. Like, give me an
Okay,
example because
and
I've been accused.
Going back to my wife, and I don't know if I was like this before, but seeing her and her sister interact
yeah.
together, like asking for something and not saying please, and then getting that and saying thank you.
Oh, yeah.
You just the simple, and I'm sitting there going, "Wow, you asked for something and didn't say please." Like in my head,
Like, what the fuck?
And then it was like, and then they would have these like shouting matches, and I was like, "Well, they're Italian, so Italian shouting."
They're
matches."
Italian.
Easy.
They're Italian.
Easy.
Those eye ties.
But
God.
but it's all love. They're coming from a place of love, And so I found myself following up somebody's, "Can I have a spoon?" "Can I please have a spoon?" Can I please have a spoon?
Yeah.
And then they're being sarcastic about it. I'm like, "No, there's
Seriously.
And then looking at their mother and going, "They're yours." And then my mother-in-law going, "She's yours now. She's not mine
Yeah.
anymore." So, but
No.
and just being like, it's simple that, and I think you texted me, you're like, just for example, that people, you hold the door open and nobody says nobody even acknowledges
gives you
it.
an acknowledges you
You
did
want to
something.
slam it on their ankle and be like, "Oh, how's that feel?" So just manners. Manners is a big, and that's another thing. My son, yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes,
Oh,
yes
manners
sir, no sir.
Maketh manners maketh man.
Are my kids not the most well-mannered children
Yes, they
in
are
the
very
world?
nice.
And,
But here's
and that's a time I will put hands on my child for the first time in public, is if my son is rude or doesn't say yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir.
But let me tell you what's working against you there, Timmy Rico, because I totally agree with you. Is that manners, yes, please, all that. It's just fucking, it's the way of the world. Just do
My
it.
kids call me sir.
But
I didn't even.
Amen.
I didn't even ask for it.
Amen.
but
Amen.
here's where we're gonna get you. To go back to my field trip experience today, I was asking this cute, phenomenal little girl. She's 4 years old. I was like, "What song do you want?" She's like, "Well, I just tell Alexa to play this song or whatever." And I was like, "What do you say?" And she's like, "Alexa, play this. Alexa, do this." And she was going through the commands of Alexa.
You don't have to tell
and
Alexa,
I said
please.
exactly what I said, and I did a freaking post on this like months ago. Alexa should only work if you ask nicely. If you say
God, what a
please
great point.
or thank you, Alexa, can you please date?
I never even
Because
thought
she
about that. Is amazing.
seriously-
Isn't that such a
That is-
great. I never. I
She
never
seriously-
thought of
You
it.
should be Amazon's lead
She
engineer
seriously just
Right?
bosses
right now. If
this
they're not
four-
watching this,
This 4-year-old,
Do you have Jeff Bezos' cell phone number? Can
I
we
do,
just
I
text
do,
him?
hold on.
this 4-year-old
Joey
can
has it.
boss around
has it.
Alexa, and Alexa will just do whatever she wants. She's 4 years old. Anyone that can speak and say, Alexa, do this, will learn that you just demand things and shit happens.
What an incredible point. That
I said that.
Never
I said
considered.
that months and months and months ago. Like, dude, you shouldn't. Alexa, fucking shut that down. If you hear a kid's voice, I'm not gonna do shit
Dude,
until
dude,
you.
dude.
But that's what you're battling. Is
Tweet that from our what do you, Twitter? Twitter, yeah. Tweet it from our Twitter.
Tweet from Twitter.
I don't know how to use
That's
Twitter.
where we're. That's
Sorry.
where we're gonna get.
sorry, sidebar. You guys need to get more active on Twitter.
We don't know how to do it.
I do it. I do it every day. I do it 4 times a day. I
Like
do
4 tweets a day.
I tweet 4 times a day.
Like in the morning. Like each time you're on the toilet. Is that what you're doing?
Actually, yes.
Yeah, that's what
I poop 4 times a day.
I'm with you.
So you only tweet when you're on the shitter?
Yeah. I poop
You
4
gotta-
times a day.
You gotta do it. You gotta.
Dude, between
Do you guys want to hear a funny Twitter story?
Yes.
between Twitter, between Instagram, between Facebook, between
Gotta link them all.
Get rid of.
it's exhausting.
Well, I'm not gonna say.
It's exhausting.
I'm not gonna.
Anyways,
I'm not gonna say. But.
that is. Tell me a funny Twitter story, please. Because
So
before
a fr-
Brian
so-
talks about a
so-
shitty person.
So a friend of mine
That's
who
not
shall
me.
remain nameless has Twitter, and he said, "I need you to get a Twitter account because I need you to troll someone, and I'm asking you
Sounds like
personally."
Craig Medeiros.
No, and he said, "I would not." He said, "I'm coming to you." He's like, "Don't think you're like the 3rd or 4th person down the line. You are the person I want to do this. There's nobody better, and I'm going to tell you exactly what to say and exactly what to tweet. So tweet create your account, make your handle whatever it is, and okay, not shitty people, but people that annoy me. If you have Instagram and you have Twitter and you have to make your handle, if your handles aren't the same, really bugs the fuck out of me.
Really?
Sorry. Oh, dude, yes.
Wow.
Because why not?
Why do I have to search something completely different? Like,
Well,
if you don't
I
put your
mean,
name or something in the,
but
if
How many Tim Rigos are there?
huh?
Yours is the real Tim. Real.
There's like a
Linda-
German doctor.
The other
There's like a
Lindell.
German doctor that's named Timothy El Rico. Like, Google it. Like,
the real.
and I'm
Rico.
not that guy. So
We got lucky. Our viewers, we got lucky. Dad Fiction
You
is
guys
the
got it.
exact same on Twitter and Instagram.
And
But
Facebook.
we are active on. I mean, dude,
And
I have
SoundCloud,
I have a small amount of things to do throughout the day, and
Including
Twitter
working.
and Instagram, and including working. It's
Yeah.
just it's a lot. Twitter scares me.
doesn't work.
It
It
takes a
scares
lot.
you?
It scares me
Why?
because there's so much energy has to be put into it because it is literally. Facebook is like, oh, every 4 or 5 hours, okay, people recheck it. Twitter is like instant.
Tip of your
And
finger stuff.
It tip of your fingers and like I'm not that witty
Yeah.
throughout the day.
Do you have notifications turned on?
Yeah.
We don't follow
Twitter?
anybody.
Do you respond?
Oh,
to people?
hold on. Do you have notifications turned on for your Dad Fiction account?
Yeah.
Like, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Yeah,
have
I do,
notifications
and
turned
we
on.
post. We
Yeah,
do.
I got to
Like, I'll wait. No, I'll do like a 6 hour. Like, I'll do like so in the morning in the bathroom pooping.
I don't think you follow us, by
Yeah.
the way. Just
Yeah,
like-
why don't you
check.
follow us?
Why don't you
Yeah,
Check the
it's
tape.
fine,
Check the
the
tape.
why don't you
All right,
check
so
your account?
we're getting off shitty people.
Sorry,
We're getting off
stop
shitty people.
snapping
Sorry.
at people.
Getting off shitty people.
So-
All right, so shitty people have different handles on their.
The ringleader here's got to
Shit.
rein us in.
Yeah, Brian, shitty people other than Tim Rico at this point right now.
Whoa!
Shots
Whoa!
fired.
Oh.
Other than
I'd like
Tim
you to know,
Rico.
Tim, I don't think you're a shitty person.
Thank you.
No,
I'm
it-
Frank
Ti-
Salgado's one of
I,
Frank Salgado's
I,
favorite humans.
you know what? The fact that I still call you Tim Rico is the amount of respect that I still have for you. I mean,
Other than calling him sir.
yeah, I mean, like it's like Tim Rico. Hey,
The
Tim
first,
Rico.
am I the first redhead on the podcast?
Yes.
Okay,
and
you
the
could-
last.
You
You,
could say-
Mm.
can come back as much as you want,
I'm
but
the
you're the only
Highlander.
one. You-
I'm the
there can only be
Highlander.
one.
I'm
You're
the
pretty much
Highlander.
the first redhead everywhere, sir. Brian, shitty person. What do you got? Who's a shitty person?
I wish I had more time to prepare for this. There's just a lot of like little things that will piss me off throughout the day.
Yes.
It's
So
not
who's
just
that person?
It's not even a person. I think it's just events in life. I don't know. It's like I think on the commute to work and there's a green light and someone takes forever to accelerate, or in traffic there's a giant buffer between the car in front of me and the car.
Are you a fast driver in your truck?
I'm a very fast driver in the truck. It's unfortunate for gas mileage.
Well,
I'm
I mean-
averaging a whopping 12 miles per gallon in that thing.
Jeez. Well, I mean, yeah. So you really get on. You tailgater. You're a tailgater.
I'm
Let's
not
just
a
say it.
tailgater. I am an appropriate buffer lever within the traffic zone.
That's how-
Yes, there's an appropriate, like, at least a half car's width, but then the car in front of me leaves, 5 cars lengths in front of him.
That's me.
It's infuriating.
That's me.
But you're in
and
traffic.
If I miss a green
Where are
light
you
because
going?
of you,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
am infuriated.
You'll get there.
If you miss a
0.4
green light
seconds.
because
I
of
do
me?
traffic.
Oh,
Trust
yeah.
me, you're not going anywhere.
Are you you're that guy? You're that guy that because are you in a hurry though? That's my question.
I think I'm in more like I want to be moving constantly. I don't want to be just sitting still at a
Hey,
red
Brian,
light. Sir.
you're not alone.
Oh,
Yeah,
get on.
you're
If
not
anyone's
alone.
gonna be with me on this one, brother,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
it would
you.
be
You're not
AJ.
alone.
Yeah.
There is no angrier driver in the world than me.
Have you seen this?
I am
Really?
the police of the world when it comes to driving. Like, I am world police. If you do anything you do that is not how I want you to do it on the road, I want to have a cannon on my car.
How old are you?
14.
No, seriously, no,
I'm 35.
Ah, you c- go work for CHP.
Yeah.
That's I swear to God,
Why?
that's the cutoff.
Why?
That's the cutoff. Because he just said, if you're not doing something I don't like, then I'm going to tell you about it.
Ooh,
Well,
that's
if
what
you,
CHP
well,
does.
if you have a badge
on a
and
bike.
red and blue lights, you can actually tell people.
man.
What I would
know-
love to have a
So
siren
I,
in my
so
car.
I spent
Just
the
hit
last
it.
5
Yeah,
days
exactly.
with cops. And I love them and respect them. I could never do that job.
You respect
Really?
the job.
Oh, I'm a rageaholic.
You,
If
you don't
you're
want
gonna
to
put
give
a
this
body
gentleman-
camera on me.
You're-
I'd lose
you're-
my job in
You're
like 6
perfect.
months.
You're perfect. They put you on desk duty for 6 months, and you go right back to work.
Tim's got it figured out.
Tim's
you
got
get,
it.
you get promoted. I'm kind of upset I never joined like CHP. Like I wish I would have known like CHP was hiring. like that.
You know,
I'm
you're
also-
not. You're not the type.
But I'm also a coward. Like,
Really?
Yeah, but I'm a
hand-to-hand combat. I'll fight anybody.
I'm a
like, generally,
confrontational
I don't-
coward.
I think
Like,
that-
Do you know what I mean by
like,
that?
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Like like I'm the guy at the restaurant. Like, hey, sweetheart, send that back. And she's like, "Are you kidding? They're gonna spit in this." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. Eat
Yeah.
that. You should eat that."
But if the chef came out,
Even though you hate, you should
I'd
eat
beat
that.
him mercilessly.
yeah,
with
yeah,
my
yeah.
fist.
But if he came out
Yeah.
to confront me, I'd be like, "Are you talking to my wife like that?" Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna
like
let's go.
I'm confrontational, but at the same like I don't want to
Shitty
kick
people
down
right
a
here.
door and like
Yeah.
I don't want to go in like and say like I'm not a
when
hero.
I cut into my enchiladas, they're perfect. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. you can have a bite of mine. You can have a bite of mine. If you want.
Wow. You guys are.
We're having a little
You're
romance over here. I don't know if you know
awful.
this.
You guys are shitty
I'm
people.
seeing a
all
We are
repeat
over.
shitty
guest
people.
over here.
We're
Jesus.
shitty
Keep your
people.
hands on the table, gentlemen.
Can I also say
Uh,
shitty people that at Costco, people who leave their carts like
Oh,
right in the
that's
middle
what
of an aisle.
I texted that to him earlier.
It is oh my god! I will physically bump it now. I'll like bump it,
Yeah,
like kind of like chest bump
You're
it, like,
beyond
out of
the
way.
passive aggressive stage.
Oh, well beyond that.
You're beyond
they
that.
need to, they need to know
I move people's carts. I don't even care.
easily.
Wait till you have a kid.
Yeah,
It
like
just gets even
confrontational.
more. It gets even
Very
more
different.
heightened when you have a kid and you have the car seat in there and your baby's asleep and you're just trying to get home before so you can put the baby to sleep so you get a minute by yourself and then you're just inundated with carts in the middle and
The
people
domino
hanging
effect.
people hanging out trying to get the goddamn samples and it all just and then the person leaves their cart in your parking spot or next to your car or parks it's all adds up.
You know what's the worst at Costco? So
We talk about Costco a
Costco
lot.
and Walmart get a lot
We
of
should-
and I'm sorry, I'm
We
going to go back and binge watch
we
1
should
through 38.
we should for
but-
sure be sponsored by Costco.
So where you have to go in and show your card and you walk through electronics. That one person that's coming
the other way.
against traffic
Oh yeah.
with their beef brisket and their like 12-pack of Stella Artois, to get to check out, and it's like,
Is
hey,
that
this
person.
thing, this place is kind of circular, right? Like you're just supposed to keep.
Like, what is it, your first time here?
Yeah, and you went to the beer and then you
They
actually
knew.
doubled back.
They knew.
Do you think they did?
They did.
Oh, they knew.
Yeah, you don't go to Costco without knowing what you're getting in.
I kind of want to just
Like you should be allowed to take their card and just tip it over.
You don't
Yeah.
get it.
And pick it up. Yeah.
You don't
Yeah,
get
you
it
don't get it.
now. AJ, should I ask you who your shitty person
You can
is?
always ask me.
Who's your
And it
shitty
happened to me today, and I almost texted you and happened because I hit the roof. And it happens like every
In the car? In
it
the car?
Of course, I'm in the car.
Yeah.
It happens to me every day, 15 times a day, because I hate everyone. And so today I'm on Gilman Drive, headed to work, because that's what I have to do as a person. And I'm turning right on, doesn't matter what street, and I'm at a stop sign, and I'm like, I'm ready to go. And a dude on a bike just blows through the stop sign.
This was coming.
Wait, motorbikes or cyclists?
Cyclists.
A bicycle, like Lance Armstrong.
Lance
Oh,
Armstrong.
yeah.
And I mean,
With the gear. The gear makes it worse.
like a part of me went, I'm going to follow
Like a
him.
neon.
I'm going to, as soon as he stops that bike, if he ever stops it, I'm going to take him off the bike and beat him to death with my bare hands. And it was an irrational thing to think. But in my head, I was like, I'm going to violently assault this person so that I can feel better about this, so that he knows. And the next time he runs a stop sign, he'll be like, I'm not going to do that because that guy beat the shit out of me one day. And like, that's what I wanted to. Now you can't. Like,
So
can't do
we
that.
had a buddy in college, and his father was irate against the Lance Armstrongs in the world. He actually turned his window shield washers, the sprays,
To the
sideways, yeah,
Yeah.
so that way he could drive by it and turn it on as he's riding by the cyclist.
a younger me used to scream at them. Like, and I've got a pretty good bark. My bark is
Yeah,
strong
I
as you
remember
will
that bark.
find.
You have a solid.
Yeah.
You have a solid.
I have
beard
a
as well.
very good bark. And so, I mean, I will, and again, I don't look polite. If you don't know me, if you don't know that I'm just a silly idiot, like, I'm not pleasant looking. And when I'm angry in a car, I look less pleasant.
I'm not pleasant looking.
And you don't know that I'm like 4'5". Like, you don't. Like, I look and sound like a guy who's 6'8".
You're not Mike
if you
Mauger.
don't know.
You're not Mike Mauger.
You don't have that stare.
The stare.
You don't have the
exactly.
Mike Mauger stern voice.
Sure, I do.
Margaret looks at them, stares at them, and they just fall over.
Yeah. And so it's the person on a bike. There's two things. The one who's
two.
above the law. If you just do whatever you want, whatever, like, I'm going to run the things. I'm going to ride in the middle of the lane. Like, the inconsiderate dick. And then there's the one who just doesn't have any concept of the fact that you're on a goddamn bike. I'm driving a 2,000-pound vehicle. I hit you with my door and you're in a hospital.
You're
Like,
dead.
do you have no concept of your own mortality? Are you that arrogant and stupid? Like, I will run you down and giggle at your funeral, you son of a bitch. Like,
Just
I
do you need more
Disclaimer.
ones? Do you need more
Disclaimer.
ones? Do you need
Disclaimer.
more
Can-
ones?
bitch
Can
is
you-
not like
can
that. No, I'm not.
Can you
Bitch is
You can
devil.
say that at 8 o'clock.
Maybe
on
you should
Fox.
read the disclaimer in Spanish to strike some fear.
To strike
in
some
the heart
fear.
of this guy.
You know what? I actually throughout
I hate the bike people.
throughout the
I hate 'em.
podcast I just pepper it in there
Wes Stevenson will never come on this podcast.
because he's a cursor
Is
he a
he
cyclist?
He's a Lance Armstrong.
or
He's a-
because he speaks Spanish.
he's a Lance Armstrong.
I will kick Wes
He-
off his bike if
we
he's going to
did
be that guy.
we did Rosarito to Ensenada. Have you guys ever heard that? The 50-mile fun ride.
No,
You never heard of that?
I go to
No.
Rosarito to hang out and drink and
I
party.
go to Rosarito for
So
lobster.
they talked
and
me into. They taught
steak.
him, Dietrich, and
Figures,
and
Dietrich.
Mark
Yeah.
Reynolds talked me
Yep,
into
figures.
yeah, right?
Those three.
You guys
yep.
do yoga too? Get out of here.
So they talked me. They talked me into this Rosarito to Ensenada ride, and I'm like, sure. So I have to rent a bike because I don't own a bike. So the guy shows up, drops the bike off. We go, whatever. We get on the bus. We ride the bus down. We get geared up. They're gone.
This makes no
Yeah.
fucking sense.
They-
Were you
they're
like in a
gone.
cruiser bike, and they were like,
No, I know. I had a 10 speed, and like I rode around the neighborhood for the weekend until for
I got prepared.
I was
The
all
old sea legs back
I was all
into it.
prepped up and whatever. And then they're like, oh man, like everybody like on the ride, I keep hearing like when we hit El Tigre, like I'm ready, El Tigre, and I'm like,
That means the tiger.
yeah,
Yeah. That's Spanish.
Yeah,
That's
that's Spanish
for the tiger.
for
Yeah.
El Tiger.
For the crazy fighting chicken.
And we hit this little like beachside town, and there's like this little like concrete hill, that we're cruising up, and I'm like, man, I hope this is El Tigre. And some guy rides by laughing, like peeing his pants laughing, and he's like, son, you're not ready. And when we get to
I'm not ready.
I'm like, I'm
Exactly.
not ready. We get to El Tigre, I had to get off and walk.
You had to walk it up. You had to push
I had
the
to get off
bike
and
up.
walk. So I walk up to the top of El Tigre. Well, first of all, I got to the bottom of El Tigre, and I had lunch and a couple cervezas. So I ate my torta.
Like
my
a-
two-
like an
I
adult.
worked against you already.
Like an adult.
like an American.
Yeah.
And then,
Fine.
and then I walk my bike up to El Tigre, and then it flattens out, and there's a bar. And I said, well, this is trouble. Like, how many people don't make it by? And I keep seeing this big flatbed truck with people and bikes in the truck cruising by. And I'm like,
Oh,
that
get
is
on
my
it.
truck. Why, they keep leaving me.
These are my
They keep
flag
leaving
me.
me. And I
Flag
find
me.
and I find these two guys, and they have a little
me persona.
they have a little Toyota, like a little Toyota pickup, and in the back of the pickup is empty boxes of tubes, like bike tubes. So they're from the
They're following.
kindness of their heart, they're changing flat tires for people, right?
Wow.
And they just stop to have a beer. And they're like, they ask me in Spanish, like, you want to ride? And I'm like, yeah. So
Absolutely.
throw the bike, and I get in there,
Simone
half buzzed after my lunch, and they take me to where I can't go anymore. But little do I know that this is all downhill into Ensenada at this point, and so I just like no-handed freestyle.
Coast.
But
She was
the-
easy.
The other guys were done. They had actually done the ride. Dietrich with one gear, God bless him, and I had 10, and I still couldn't do it.
Fucking Dietrich.
And then I got super mad and like 2 Pacificos at a time, yelled at them, and was mad because they left me.
Yeah, I would have been pissed off too.
Right.
You don't just invite me on an exercise event and then just
the
be
flyer
gone.
said fun.
No, you
That
don't.
doesn't sound like fun.
You
I'm
don't
sorry.
do it.
Time out. Let me. If you want me to ride a bike for 50 miles, there is nothing fun about this. I don't drive. Like, think about driving. Do you want to drive from Ocean Beach to Oceanside?
For fun?
No.
No.
Do you want to then pedal on a bicycle like you're Fred goddamn Flintstone?
And
like,
if
no.
and if the flyer would have said anything about El Tigre, I would have said, "What's this El Tigre thing?"
That was by design.
What is that?
Yeah.
If
Is they left that
dude,
out, yeah, right.
If that's not a burrito,
yeah.
I'm out.
That 2 miles was left out. Hey, why do they leave these 2 miles out?
2 miles?
Everything. I don't know. No, it's
Two
it's
That's insane.
it was huge. At one point, I was grabbing onto a guy's SUV, and they were towing me up. Like,
Yeah, you're doing like
Yeah.
the Marty McFly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
exactly.
100%.
There's
Yeah.
Are you still friends?
What?
Are you still friends with all
Oh
those
yeah.
people?
I went back, and I have an Instagram post from the end of, and we're all 4 like huddled up, and I was like, so we made it, and I was like, one of us cheated, guess who? And still came in last.
There it is.
You ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Those are
Nope.
those are terrible people, and I
Get
hope you
outta
never
here.
chat with them ever again. I hope you never do. All right, so let's last segment, right? Or shitty person, my shitty person.
Give me
Yeah,
yours.
Person.
So
You're already laughing. I'm excited.
it's
for
really
this.
not that bad because I'm
All right.
Brian a shitty person. It's the shitty person that
Yeah, you're Brian.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know if you know your name, but
Shots
you're
fired.
Brian.
because I figure like this is
this
you.
guy?
He's
Wait,
going after
hold on,
both.
this Brian?
What?
All right,
Yeah,
let's just
Tim's a shitty person.
Here?
Brian's a shitty person.
Let's just
Thanks
say
for having us. Good
let's
night,
just
everyone.
say that ever since I went to Hawaii,
Real hospitable.
ever since I went to Hawaii, I drive like I'm an islander. 65, 68. I'm never in a hurry. Ever. It's not, it's
What
not-
island were you on? They don't go faster than 65. What are you talking about?
Ever. Both
You must have been on
islands.
Maui.
All yeah, actually, maybe. I don't know. The big guy.
That's where all the Howleys go.
Yeah. Well, because you're from there, apparently,
born-
right?
yeah.
Wait, where were you born? You born in
Redheaded.
Oahu.
Redhead. Yeah. Redhead. Redhead Hawaiian.
Howley
yeah.
number 1.
Fix that one too.
Yeah, brah.
Put that
Okay.
one together, brah. So
How's it?
so I drive 65, 64.
I
if
hate you so much.
64,
It's the
65, 68.
worst. Are you in the fast lane too?
No, come on. I'm not that much of a shitty
Don't
person.
you like
Why
high
don't-
and mighty? Like, no.
I'm
Why-
not a shitty
You
person.
drive 60 miles an hour.
But-
punch
why
you
don't
in
you
the
just
face.
why don't you just get on the bus?
Right?
Because I like driving, and I like singing my own songs at the time at an appropriate level.
Why don't you put on some Linkin Park circa 1999 and scream sing at 90 miles an hour?
I do
That's the
not
way
have
to do
any
it.
of those things. What you just said right there. So my shitty person is when you're at a light and the absolute fucking second, less than millisecond that it turns green, someone honks at you behind you.
Oh, we're,
It is the
no.
holy shit! I didn't realize we were quick drawing this thing.
No, I'm not a quick honker.
guess what?
Do you honk?
You
though?
now are going to miss this light unless you go around me.
I
I'll wait till
don't-
that thing turns
no,
yellow
that
and
is
then run
not
the
my
red.
thing. The quick draw, the quick and the dead Sharon Stone. The second it turns green, boom, you go. No, that is not my thing.
Yeah, I give a solid like 5 count, and then I'll give a light tap.
Oh, I'm not giving you 5 seconds. That's insane.
I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
look, I noticed it's green. We're going. I'm looking forward. I just noticed it's green.
Grace and I have had some pretty
get
adamant
2
arguments
seconds.
about this exact topic.
You get 2
Give
seconds.
me 4 seconds. Give me
2.
4. Give me 4 seconds
Nope.
before you honk.
2. Utah. You
I-
get 2
honk
seconds.
And a tap. It's a tap and a honk too. It's
Is
it's
it?
not like a.
I don't honk.
No,
I do all that.
I
That's the
never
thing about
honk.
People in San Diego.
My
do
horn needs
not
to be
honk.
replaced.
we don't honk.
People in San Diego do not.
My wife constantly says, "Will you please honk?" And I say no because I don't want to get shot. And when I do honk, I will be honking out of the car, reaching through the window, honking, pointing at you to let them know that you're the
It was
one.
her.
that, you
It was
know,
her.
like-
So
honk all
is
the
Grace?
time.
Is Grace
Do you really?
an aggressive
My
honker?
horn may need to
Grace
be
is a
replaced.
very aggressive
Stop
honk.
doing that.
One of the biggest
Stop
arguments we
doing
had,
that. That
Grace
is
reached
dangerous,
over
dude.
across
Don't do it,
and
man.
honked the horn for
I'm going to
me.
take your
She honked
words
your
to
horn,
heart.
weren't you?
Oh,
Don't do it.
it
I'll
was-
consider that.
Remember
It
White
was
Man Can't
lines
Jump?
crossed.
So, but Rika, so
can't.
Rico,
Remember White Man Can't Jump?
yeah.
When Raymond goes to rob the liquor store?
It's a
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. And
It's a
Raymond,
movie.
I know.
Yeah.
He's drawn
it's-
very good analogies from the movies.
Yeah.
Raymond goes to the liquor store and he says, "Give me all your money." And the guy behind the counter
Raymond,
says,
is that you?
Exactly.
No. Say right. Say no.
And then finally, right, you know,
And he sells
man,
him a gun.
You need you a good gun, man. There's a lot of crazy
Crazy
motherfuckers out there. That is 2018. That is words to live by, man. Because
So-
you honk at somebody that's having a bad day that has a
Michael Douglas falling
A
down.
gun.
a Glock laying on the seat next to him.
I have a hammer in my car for those situations. I legit
Hope
have
you
a
can
hammer.
throw that hammer.
And I
really
know we said we're
quickly.
not talking about that kind of stuff, but I'm just saying, like, there are people that will shoot you
But
for honking at them.
But Tim, so because you obviously were born in Hawaii, I have a friend who was born in Hawaii, from Hawaii, grew up in Hawaii, all that stuff. He drives very differently. He drives with one hand on the wheel and one hand on the horn. So it is always
I'm not that.
From Hawaii?
he's ready to go.
From Hawaii.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me, but he's always just driving and he's turning.
That's insane.
like
quick.
he's looking for any excuse to just
Super,
honk
yeah,
at people.
super. He's
Why?
super quick.
Why?
Super quick. I don't know, but that's the way he grew. He went to Mauna Loa, I want to say.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well,
And it's like that's
apparently not
no
like-
offense. That's like anti-island. Like that's like
Yeah,
hey,
he's
bro,
super.
like,
He's super
you
a
know,
honker. I don't honk, but do not honk at me for 4 seconds when the light turns green. Just give me a minute to take my
4
foot off
seconds
the
is
brake.
so
what are you?
long.
What are you
I think
doing?
I think I
Why
don't know.
are
I don't know
you
if she does it or not, but
accelerating?
my mom says
Well,
she'll wait.
I'm sitting there.
She'll
Are
sit
you
through the entire
observing-
cycle.
I'm
You're gonna have to go
appreciating the
around.
green light.
I have 37 kids in my car, all right, and a wife. So I might not
lying
be
now.
looking at. I might be staring at the light,
37.
waiting for it to turn green, and be
He
like,
is on the
I
bus.
might be over
He is
here.
on
I
the
might be
bus.
looking over here,
Oh.
and then all of a sudden it turns green. And sometimes Amanda will be like, hey, it's green. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, it's gone, and then I'll go. But the second it turns green, don't honk at me.
4 seconds is absurd.
All right, give me 3.
1,
At a
2.
Those are
at a green
3.
light, 4 seconds is forever.
That's an
That is
eternity.
eternity.
The fact
that
that
light
you're
could,
in-
that light could go yellow while you're waiting
The
for 4
fact that
seconds.
you're in
'Cause
that
you're not
much of a
moving.
hurry makes you.
It's not a
awful.
matter of that much of a hurry, but if I lose
I don't like waiting.
because you miss one light, now there's several other lights you're gonna miss. and now
So you
you're
lose
looking at-
8. So you lose 8 minutes of your
So
life.
Ryan, would you, if there was like 2 lines and there was only 3 people in one line and 7 people in the other line, would you get in the line with 7 people? Are you just not
I would
in a rush
I would get in the line that I fit.
that you fit?
Yeah, I'd get in the line
What
that I
does that
fit.
mean?
What kind of dumbass answer is that?
I
that
would
you
get in
fit?
the
No,
line.
you goddamn liar! You get in line with 3 people.
but at the
Quit
same-
bullshitting
Yes.
our audience.
I would fit in the line
That
that
earned
I
one.
would go in the line that I fit.
If
That's
you're on
it.
if you're on the 8 coming back from El Centro or Arizona and you get to Pine Valley and the checkpoint is open, the border patrol checkpoint, get in the right lane. Trust me.
Because I'm Mexican.
'Cause
Was that a
no.
Mexican joke?
No, because nobody's in
Son
it.
of a bitch.
Hell
I
are you
love
talking about?
that.
Because nobody's in it.
This is
Son
very
of a
tangential.
bitch.
I think the
Nobody's in
slow lane on like the 5 or
You
That's
something
like the-
else
son of
is
a
like
The
bitch.
52 at about 5 o'clock. If you get in the far right lane as you're coming up over the hill towards, just get in the far right lane because everyone.
Yeah,
I don't
he
know
goes.
why.
Don't be
but
giving away your secrets, bro.
I was gonna say trade secrets.
I don't go on the 52 anymore, so this is somebody else's problem. I don't live in Santee, but when I did, just get all the way to the right and ride that thing. There's no exit lane.
All right,
People
AJ
are stupid.
AJ number 2 was
Hey,
like,
Aaron?
he said 10 seconds. 10 seconds is an eternity.
10?
Nonsense.
Yeah,
No,
that's,
get-
that's
no.
a-
Nonsense.
That's a lie.
Block-
I,
nice to
I
block-
love you.
block-
You're a
block-
wonderful human being
block
and
that
a
guy.
wonderful
Yeah,
man.
10
Block that
seconds
guy.
is awful.
Block
I would
that
never block him.
All right.
that guy.
He's a wonderful
Sorry.
person.
Let's
He's
go.
terrific, but no way. No.
All right, let's go. Let's leave shitty people because obviously there's a host of shitty people.
Let's
here
get to
today.
like we got to. We're gonna be
Shitty
here
people
for
hate
9
shitty
hours.
people.
Let's go.
People
That's
hating
true.
people.
All right, so let's get into our Ask Dads question. AJ, read the Ask Dads question one more
Is
time,
my phone
so
still
that we
alive?
can be
I got
refreshed.
2% battery. That'll not help. Anyway, basically, the question asks, is there anything wrong or like what is your stance? They asked us specifically, what is your stance on allowing family members, extended or immediate, to kiss your infant or toddler on the mouth at whenever they see them? And that could be taken any which way or whatever. My phone died right now. But yeah, it was basically like, how do you feel about that? And in my head, I'm like, no. And I'm Portuguese Italian, and we're big kissers and huggers, and
Did you go to Festa last weekend?
of course it was
Everybody
many
did.
weekends
Good
ago. but yes.
God,
Oh, was it?
you're,
I thought it was last weekend.
No,
dude, you're
it was-
shunned.
It
You're
was,
shunned.
no, it was like 2 weekends ago. You're fine.
I thought it was like it goes over like a month.
Are you
No.
Portuguese?
Yeah.
Are you Portuguese?
No, people think that. But
Oh.
no.
Why
No,
do
it's
people- why
two.
do
It's
people
2
do that?
weekends ago because he's
Oh, okay.
handsome. But
He's got a lot of hair
You're
because he's got a
strapping
lot of
you're
hair.
strapping-
Eat a dick.
you're
It's
strapping
'cause he
young
is-
man.
he's got a-
eat an
got
entire
a
dick.
Full amount of hair.
I'm-
Yeah,
We're,
let's go.
we're never invited back, by the way.
Yeah, that was our sign off.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll invite you back.
All right. So all right. So kissing your baby.
Yeah. So how do you feel about and because this person Carl was struggling is like it was like a it was a dynamic between he and his wife or baby mama or whatever, was like that they had a difference of opinion on the matter. And I come from an Italian Portuguese family, and we were big kissers, and then I immediately reacted with absolutely not. And I was like, wait a minute.
And then I came in with a little bit, maybe there's a different story here.
No, but maybe. And so it was one of those things I was like, well, hold on. And then I said no. I said, nope. Keep your filthy mouth off my infant. Like, maybe no, because it's weirder as a toddler.
When this baby's born, like, there's no telling my mom, my mother-in-law, and specific members of my family that they're not going to be able to kiss this baby wherever they want.
Kiss him on the face, not the mouth.
But the fact that you're
not to dime out my mother-in-law, but she is, well, I think she's a former smoker, so just that, like, you know, like, no, if you like my
she doesn't smoke now.
No, she just had like major surgery, so like coming out of major surgery, she's gonna quit, you know, because she hasn't smoked. Like, she smoked before, but you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, and like my brother, he dips. Yeah. You're not. Hey, dip lip. No, you're not kissing my
not
kid.
Gonna happen.
Hey, you're not even gonna kiss my kid.
Nope.
Like, I want to see you brush your teeth, mouthwash. I want to see the whole night. Like, you know, like, I'm sorry, but no, like, you know, you can.
Exactly.
You can blow kisses and you can do whatever you want, but
you
no,
can blow
like,
kisses.
Yeah, but no, like, there's certain like criteria, you know, and I might not kiss my newborn on the mouth.
You will.
Do you
I'll
kiss
try
your kids
all the
on
time, but-
Ryan? Do you kiss your kids on the lips?
Yeah.
I kissed my daughter on the lips today as I said goodbye because she wanted to, and I said okay. Like, she gives me and her friends think it's weird. I don't give a shit. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I do. I still do. I still do. And there was a time, probably like 3-4 months ago, where I was just, I'm just gonna aim for the cheek. But then when they pucker up, I'm like, hey, it's the way it goes.
Like, there will be an age where it's weird.
And well,
Wait,
it's funny,
yeah.
but like with my dad, like the older I got, like the more like you know,
You're
we
not gonna
would-
do it, right?
No, I'm saying, like, we would, like, the kiss on the cheek thing. It was
Yeah.
like we got more like, you know,
Yeah. Wouldn't you
home
transition
style,
to
you know.
that?
But
Your
like,
kid will tell you. I
if
think.
my dad dropped me off at Saints and tried to kiss me on the mouth,
Nope.
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 You know, no,
Yeah.
you know,
I
and it
think
wasn't
you're-
even like a fist bump. It was like, you know, it was like a hand, like, have a nice day, son. It was like, you too,
Yeah.
pop. You know, like, I'll see you later.
I think your kid will tell you, right?
My son's
Yeah.
My son's gonna be 16. He's still huge on hugs. I mean, and I put him on a hug count at one point.
You're a
'cause
good
it was
hugger.
like, I like.
You're a good
and
hugger.
But I mean, I like to hug.
You hugged him earlier.
I'm
I remember this
yeah.
being like,
I'm an
he's a good
affectionate
hugger.
person. I like to hug.
For the record, AJ hugged me and Ryan didn't.
Yeah, I'm a hugger.
You're a bully.
But, like,
Oh, Brian didn't.
He's
But
like,
No, you didn't.
Oh,
but I mean-
you're a fucking liar. When you showed up, I fucking hug you.
brothers
Yeah.
don't shake hands.
You're a goddamn liar.
Brothers got to hug.
Brothers got to hug. But you know, like,
Believe
I
me,
like
Brian.
hugging. I think I'm big into it. I do it with all my friends. It's a sign of affection. I dig it. But my son would hug me 58,000 times a day. And I'm like, you're stealing my joy right now. Like, I like to hug
That
people,
is-
and
that is
you're
a- that is a-
robbing
that is
me
a
of
lot.
that.
It's excessive.
And so I'd be like, you've had 59 hugs today. Like, you're gonna have to. We're high fiving
You
at
got
this
to pace
point.
this out, bro.
And so now I don't. If he understands, and so
I-
like last night, for example, he comes over. He's like, hug or high five. As I come in for it, I was like,
You bring it
okay.
in for the real thing.
I will bro down with the best of them. Like I will
Yeah.
get in there, but like, yeah, but too much is too much. Like,
Except
it's
I
different.
hugged you
It's-
earlier, and you know that really irritated
But my son
me.
will come over like randomly. I'm not even kidding. Like 5 times a night. Like, can I have a hug? And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Like, dude, you're 16. Can we not?
really?
I don't.
hug that dude.
I do.
Hug that dude.
I do
He's not
because
saying
there's
he didn't. Yeah.
Really?
yeah, like I hug him all the time, and so it's one of those things. Like he just really likes that. Like, it feels good. He enjoys it. It's like that affection.
But do you not correct it? But do you make a comment about it? Like, what if he's like in high school and he's like wanting
He
to
is
hug
in high
every
school.
period? What if
He-
he's like asking for a hug for every period from his friends? Is that would you?
He
try to
isn't.
All right, good.
But we would have a conversation. Like
Is
I
that
told him,
just with you? Like just with you?
it's primarily with me.
All right.
And so
Hug
it's one of those
that
things. And we had a conversation. We did. Like, now that you mentioned, I was like, look, I said, because I do a lot of with. He's very socially awkward and unusual. He's not like doing weird
He's not
texts and
cool,
like
right?
slapping people in the face. But it's just one of those things. He just doesn't have any idea. He has no self awareness. And so I constantly share with him alternative ways to do things. Not a right or a wrong, but like, have
Yeah.
you considered this? Because
Yeah.
again, who the hell am I to tell him what's right or wrong? Especially with this, I don't know anything with this generation. I'm completely out of touch. And so I was like, hey,
They're all
like,
screwed
he'll
up.
mention like, hey, I did this and it didn't go very well. And I was like, well, yeah, maybe don't do that. I'm not going to give examples because I'm not going to call him out. But it's like, well, what if we tried this instead? Have you considered that? And he's like, yeah, that makes way more sense. And so with the hugs, I was like, hey, man, I was like, I'd love to hug you. I love hugging you and your sister. It's if I could list the top 10 things in my life, hugging you and your sister's in the top 3. Like I love it. But when you hug me every 30 minutes, I no longer enjoy this, and it becomes a chore, and it is ridiculous. And if you, I was like, you can't. You rob the sincerity. It doesn't seem real.
Doesn't seem special.
Like, because you want to hug. Like when you hug somebody, and maybe I'm a hugger. Like I like to hug people. Like when I see you, it's like I want to share with you this embrace. I haven't seen you. Like I'm happy to see you. I want to do that. And again, like I'm a good hugger. I'm not whatever. Like I like.
I'm
to
a good
hug.
hugger.
Did you
He
just call
knows
yourself
it.
a
He
good- you
knows
just
I
called
said
it.
I
He's
said I
being
am or I'm
bashful.
not.
Did you? No, you called yourself a good
He's
hugger.
I said I'm a
he-
good hugger. I'm not a good hugger. I said both.
He said he's a good
Oh.
hugger.
Like I said both.
I heard.
I only heard good
I heard.
hugger.
I heard.
We
I'm a
heard
good
it and we
hugger.
shut it off because
I heard good hugger.
Well, I'm sorry that you both accept and acknowledge that I'm a good hugger.
Yes.
But I offered both
It was
options.
there. It was all out there.
But it was
man.
no
all
like
out there.
coming in today. I haven't. I couldn't tell you the last time I've seen you. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I could.
You can?
I can. Yeah,
When was it?
absolutely.
When was it?
It was the second annual Saints alumni baseball game, and you hit a fucking home run.
Every time this guy sees me, I hit a home run.
Yeah. Maybe
could
just
you
carry him
Can
around.
you just
like-
fucking follow
You
me?
hit
around?
it.
Like-
You hit it off. You hit it off of the kid from like Chula Vista Little League who won the Little League World Series. The
Yeah.
pitcher that went to Saints. You
He's-
hadn't swung a bat in, I swear to God, years. You said it.
my
You didn't
sister-
take any batting practice during the home run derby.
My sister
And-
came to the game and she said, "Where did you get that jersey?" And I said, "This is my senior year jersey." And she said, "I can tell."
An extra medium.
Oh no, it was like an XL back in the day.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about that is, I told the catcher, the kid was like trying to throw me off speed pitches in the dirt, trying to waste pitches, and I turned around to the catcher. You know, I'm a grown man now, and I said, "Hey, if you don't fucking tell this kid to fucking throw me a fastball, I fucking swear to God." And he said, "Sir, are you serious?"
Dude, you tapped in your dad right then and there already.
Right? And I
tapped
said,
in the dad mode right there.
I said, young man, I said, if you think I
You're
can,
ready to be a dad.
I said,
You're
young
ready.
man,
Did you put your hand on his shoulder?
It's over.
I
It's
said,
over.
I said, young man, if you think I came here to try to hit off-speed pitches, you are mistaken. I said, you better tell him to throw me a fastball. And he said, sir,
This isn't the avocado league,
yeah, this,
kiddo.
I said, this kid ain't padding no stats. I said, he's gonna throw me a fastball. You saw what happened.
And he hit
That is hilarious. And the last time I saw you was at your dad's.
The last
charity
time I
thing,
saw him,
which
he hit a
was
fucking home run,
amazing.
and then
Amazing.
coach told him go get it afterwards.
Yeah, and I still had to go get it.
Yeah, so-
Yeah.
But he hadn't swung a bat forever.
Great swing. Go get the
Go
ball.
get it.
Oh,
Go
man.
get it.
So you're Brian. Jesus Christ. To
Brian.
bring it back,
That's Brian.
Brian. I know. My eyes were closed. Brian.
You
So you're not gonna have the whole kissing on the lips thing. Is something you've already decided.
No. I'm just curious to hear it. When does it get too old? When is the kid too old? to
You know
do
what?
that?
I ask questions when Carl from Chicago asked the question. I asked questions back. I was like, okay, is it grandparents who see the kid all the time, or is it
It was.
the extended family?
There's so many factors.
Or is it the extended family? Okay. And I said,
It's
you know what?
cultural, too.
I would have a
Big time.
problem if it was
Totally.
excessive.
I-
If it was excessive.
I just remember a distinct moment in my memory with even my dad. I remember making a hard left when he came in for it. Yeah, and I think that's what, I think it's exactly it. That's the moment when he realized, all right, that's not happening.
And you were like,
anymore.
yeah, you let the kid decide. Because, I
Yeah.
mean, if it's the extended aunt or uncle or whatever that family tree says that comes in for it, and the kid is 3 or 4 or 5, or they don't know who they are, and they're just like uncomfortable about it, just like, hey, look, just give them a hug. When for right now, for my kids, the only thing I have them do as like kind of a polite thing is say goodbye and give a hug. That's pretty much it. It's like, hey, that's what you do. If you feel comfortable, you know, they'll give their own kiss or do their own thing, but at least say goodbye, give a hug.
Yep.
And it's not a chore or it's not a necessity that you give kisses. Jameson has his own thing because dude is a fucking kiss monster at this point. Dude's just, yeah, he's kissing everybody, kissing people's feet and whatnot, and whatever. Let's leave that. That's another story.
next week.
That's a different story altogether. But I had questions like, look, if it's an extended family member who insists on it, that's a little awkward.
I
Don't
never,
make the
I
kid awkward.
No, and I never been around like I like when I got to high school, like being around, like there was a huge Portuguese community when I went to Saints,
Yeah.
and not so much at St. Vincent's, but when you introduce or say hello to a Portuguese woman, if you don't kiss them on the cheek,
you're gonna hear about it.
Yeah,
you know,
you
like,
offended them.
if you
Yeah,
don't walk
you-
away
it's-
with like lipstick all over
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah,
face,
yeah, you're like-
you didn't,
exactly.
you didn't, you
Just
were
like
doing
it
it
Maybe
right.
because Jimmy, John, Joey, all those guys. Yeah.
everybody, whether it's their sister, aunt, cousin, their daughter, whatever. Like if you're not going in for the hug and the kiss on the cheek, and then that's one thing. And then we have a buddy who married a girl who is Iranian, and then we went up for their wedding. And when you go, whether it's a man or a woman, they do double kiss cheek. So you go in for a handshake. So it's handshake and then, it's like.
That's
It's
two
a whole
times.
new set of rules, and it's like I'm used to the one thing, and then they're coming in for the second one, and then you might brush
Yeah,
lips or
that's not
something.
like,
Yeah,
if you
it's
don't
like,
pull back enough,
and it's like,
Oh yeah, if
you
you're
know,
not
and then you
expecting
step
it,
back.
and you catch lip.
yeah, and then I like go, and I'm like, what's
Did
over,
I just
what's-
kiss that guy?
Like, what's over? I'm like, I think I just kissed your dad, and they're like, oh, it's cool. Like,
fucking happens,
but
whatever.
so
No,
it's
it
respectful.
isn't.
It's
no,
respectful.
but it's if you've never been,
No, I
it's
know,
it's
yeah.
so completely random.
Unusual.
You've never, and I don't know, so
I think that if it's your kid, you set the boundary. If it's a baby, because I told you earlier before, like if you have a baby and you're pushing the baby around in a stroller, random people will want to touch your kid. It is just I don't know what it is.
It's a
They'll
tattoo thing.
they'll touch the cheek. I'm like, what? I was
Nope.
in Costco. Fucking
Nope.
people, don't touch my kid. What is wrong?
I would rather an old lady kiss her fingers and touch my kid's forehead.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
We would all be okay with that. But if
And then- but wipe your hands after.
when they come in hot and try to stroke their hair or touch them or like I don't know.
I
who
had somebody
you are.
ask me if they could hold my child once. I was like,
Oh.
I don't know who you are.
Yeah,
And she looked at me like I was
Hell
the
no.
biggest asshole in the world. I was like, I've never met you.
Yeah, what the shit is the matter? They
I was
were
like,
over.
no.
Were they over 60?
No, I mean they were an adult. They were probably in their 40s or 50s. And like, oh, can I hold them? I was like, no.
No.
And they looked at me like I was Satan. And they're like, what do you mean no? I was like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, it's
But
a-
she's so cute. I was like, I know, I made her.
Can I go pee?
again. Jesus, God, I remember my first beer.
I think that's his
Uh,
first go.
Brian, are you? Is it? No, it's a second.
It's not Byron. It's
a sec-
Brian.
I said Brian. What did I say?
You said Brian.
Yeah,
I hear
Brian.
you.
So
Take his
did
side.
you guys have to talk about it, or is it that's your rule?
I don't think we've actually talked about this.
You
I'm just
should.
Because I mean, obviously, if you have a family who is kiss prone, you got to have that conversation. I didn't think about it until the
So we got
question.
the question, yeah.
Because everyone, my family is like kissing on the cheek, forehead, whatever, everywhere else but the lips.
Yeah.
And the lips is like that's
Well, you made a good point. You turned your face. I'm sorry.
hard left.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
But
He's a
if
hard
if
left.
someone has to grab your face and recenter it to kiss you on the mouth, something is wrong. And I say this because my aunts, my great aunts, my grandmother's sisters, Rita and Vera, they were
Rita and Vera.
they were notorious for these sloppy, like disgusting kisses, and they would try to kiss you on the mouth, and you
Oh,
would be
man.
fighting their hands, like you'd be doing fucking karate to like
You got your defensive
Bruce
lineman,
Lee
yeah.
stuff to like block their hands because otherwise they would get you, and
They'd
they get
get
you,
you.
and you're like. I can't, and then you
Yeah,
want
the
to just burn
slob-
your
yeah.
face off,
The
and it
sloppy
wasn't because you
kisses,
didn't love them, because they were wonderful, sweet,
But you just-
amazing people. But I
They're in your
anywhere
space.
from I don't remember like 6 to when the f ever. Stop trying to kiss me on the mouth.
You're like
What's the
look,
matter with you?
I've kissed girls at this point, and I don't want to do that.
I don't want your sloppy face on my face. This is disgusting.
We've touched on that rite of passage, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So, talk about that. See where you guys are on that on those pages.
I think to summarize, like I think it's cultural, and I think it's case by case.
As is everything.
And there's you're gonna have to have that conversation if you want to be like, hey, maybe don't do that. Like it's just something I'm not
Like
comfortable with.
there are some of my Portuguese friends. If I try to tell their mother or aunts or grandmothers that they can't kiss my baby on the mouth, there'll be an APB in Point Loma, like at the liquor stores and the gas stations. They'll be like, this guy and his wife and their kid.
Fuck
they're not
that
allowed.
guy.
Yeah, they're
Fuck
not allowed.
that
in Point
guy.
Loma
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
Like,
You can't come west of Sunset
no,
Cliffs.
like yeah,
Period.
You could stay in OB, you peasant. Like
Yeah. Sorry, Timmy Rico. Man, we definitely went in on with the new dads. It happens.
It's awesome.
It happens. It's good to see such hope, I guess.
Thank you.
Such hope.
Yeah.
For
You
the-
guys, aren't you guys cute?
For this
energy.
don't ever change. For this next generation of people, but it's refreshing to see guys that you've thought about these things, because granted I thought about those, and a long time ago I thought the exact same things you guys have
it was
thought
a little
about.
different.
Well, we're not all AJ, not psychos,
No.
psychopaths.
No, I was
We're not
very
all. What
wrong.
were you? 22?
Yeah, I was like,
22.
I was
We're not all
11.
22. How?
I was
How old am
20.
30. I'm
no,
34.
no. How old were you at number
That's
one?
a different question. I have absolutely
Yeah,
no.
I was 20 and 23.
I think I was 28.
For number one?
28 in 28 when she was pregnant. 29 maybe when I don't know. How long?
You were
30.
29. Do you not know your
when
child's
she was
birth-
born.
Yeah, you're
You
in
are a
January. She's in February.
Dude, I know when she was born.
You are
I
a
don't know how old I
financial-
was.
Financial planner should know numbers.
She's a month and a few days or a couple days after you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
8,
so I was 29.
8-10.
8-10. But it's
112.
29?
It's refreshing, guys.
He's January 12th. She's freaking Valentine's Day. This guy.
So what does that mean?
You were first, you idiot.
You were. I was first. Of course, I'm 34 years old. She's only 5. What do you want me to do? So it's refreshing to know that you guys are thinking about these things because we're not alone. And new dads out there, you're not alone either. We all think about the exact same stuff. We just think about it a little bit differently because AJ's right here and he does his own stuff.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Shots
He
fired.
hates you.
But thanks everyone for watching episode 29.
Little
Hey.
plug for next week. We have a big show.
Oh
next
yeah,
week.
go ahead. Give it to us.
For those who don't know, who haven't heard us talk lately, my dad
It's
and
Father's
Ryan's
Day.
dad
It's
are coming
Father's
on
Day.
for a special
Really?
Father's Day
Wow.
episode. We've been
Episode
holding
30.
off on bringing
Okay.
the dads in for
Okay.
some time.
They have
I
not
like
been
it.
in before.
No,
No.
we've
Wow.
waited 7 months, 6.5 months, 7 months to
To-
bring them on.
To really
Ripening
figure
it.
out who we are as people.
No, we were basically chicken shit and didn't want to do it.
You're
But,
not wrong.
Are you going to ask them hard questions?
Yes.
So
And,
AJ, give him the format.
so the premise right now, as it is we are going to do 20 questions. Now we're not going to get through 20 because that's absurd. Maybe we will, and we'll be on for 5 hours.
We might need more whiskey for that.
But yeah, we're a lot of whiskey. But we're gonna have he's gonna have a list of questions, and I'm gonna have a list of questions. He's gonna interview my dad. I'm gonna interview his dad.
Awesome.
And here's the
Awesome.
kicker:
Like,
there's no rebuttal. If he asks a question that I really want to ask and it's not on my list, I don't get to ask it.
yeah.
Like it's you have to stick to your list.
Structure.
Yeah,
Structure.
just kind of like as an fu to the other
Structure with AJ is
guy. Yeah, I don't really abide.
uphill battle.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't abide.
Uphill battle.
I'm a grown up.
You should get the grill going, Ryan. Dad should come over early, get the smoker going.
Get the smoker together.
Yeah.
That he'd have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not gonna do that.
And I'm just going to throw this out there. I think 1 year, like, we'll do an announcement when the babies come. And I think maybe
You guys should come back for sure.
I was going to say at least a year. from now.
100%.
Absolutely.
If not
100%.
6 months, and be
Yeah.
like,
For
Because
sure.
hey, what did you think was gonna happen? Let's replay. You said
Yeah.
this.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
here we are. Recap.
Tim Rico said I'd
Yeah.
never curse at my at my son. I
I'll beat
broke
the
that.
shit out of that kid.
I broke that in
I
one
could never-
month.
I could never touch that angel.
Brian's like, I'm totally spanking is totally on the table. It's on the table.
Just a
I had to call Tim Rico to come over and beat my kids.
That's Uncle AJ.
You redheaded soulless robot. Yes.
A couple more announcements, just real quick. We still have some Dad Fiction merchandise for sale. The shirts are on sale at the website dadfiction.net/shop. Check it out. Get in there. They're limited time. I think we're going to go through next Wednesday, through next episode.
yeah, Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah, next Wednesday.
Check them out because we're done selling them next Wednesday for a while. So get in there, get your Father's Day gifts. Check them out. The shirts are awesome. And we're going to be working on a Dad Fiction mixer, if you will.
Mixer
For all of the guests we've had so far and any fans who want to join, where we're just going to drink and eat and be stupid, and we'll probably go live from that event. We'll kind of rotate and have like guest hosts and things and just kind of talk and BS.
Yeah,
and
you don't want Tim Rico on the mic
That is
running
amazing.
he's
things.
on the mic right now.
That
but
is
running
amazing.
things.
Yeah, so we're gonna be putting
Oh,
that
don't- no,
together.
don't put me in
So
charge.
we're gonna put out some feelers soon. We're gonna start doing an invite to the Dad Fiction mailing list and just see who might be into it and what kind of ideas we have. Just look at anyone who's willing to sponsor or work. I'm sure Tom's got 1,000 connections, but we're gonna put something together soon for this summer.
Tom doesn't work. He just makes other people work for him, right?
Boom.
You know. But,
I think
so-
Dad Fiction episode 29 is in the
In the books. Thanks for watching. SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play,
YouTube.
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. For God's sakes, there's absolutely no reason for you to not hear our words. Absolutely nothing.
Unless you're stupid and
Unless
don't like
you,
to be entertained.
unless you're a terrible human, unless you're a shitty person.
Shitty person.
Don't be a shitty person. Thanks for watching. Tell your kids that you love them. And if you're a new dad, just, hey, stick with it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
We out.
Cheers.